I love it.
Let's go, baby.
Woo! Back at it, me and Zikrik.
Let's
it's been a bit
go.
since we've been able to cast together since holidays, New Year's, all that fun time.
Wow.
But now we are back for fun times here, and we start off with Bullet Train.
Let's
Yes!
go, baby.
I got the whistle.
Dog. What's up, dog?
Dude, hell yeah. Let's go, bro. I'm so stoked to be back out here with you. I just had my first session of the year yesterday. You had your first session, I think, the day before that. And so
Yep.
warming it back up for 2025. And we are on the new build. So we got Bebo in play. We got new island over here by Academy. We got reworked Scavenger Bay. We got all kinds of crazy little warp things going on across the map. These little time anomalies. Some really cool stuff. And one of the things that's my favorite Magical is this anywhere but here portal they added to stacks, bro. It's actually so cool.
Me too. And look at this. We have a couple teams already here at Academy. The last door and built different entirely. Kind of showing up and ready to rumble early on. And I'm curious to see if anyone jumps into the anywhere but
they're
here.
going.
And we do.
Oh, they're
Last door
going
going for it, but Lemur didn't get it. Wait, no. Oh, tragedy there. They forgot the channel time and got punished for it.
That's hilarious, dude. Where did they go? They just
So it looks
got
like only Paz and Phenom got out of there.
way down
Uh,
here, bro. Like the cross map. That's so funny.
Yeah, Pine, I think, is subbing in for them. And so Pine and Lemur both were not able to make it out into the portal and hop away.
So it looks
So
like
kind of funny to watch.
yeah, it looks like right there we saw FPS get that. So I found out that it's a bug. I wasn't aware of that yesterday, but this level 1 boss that's on the
Yes.
map, it's giving too much XP. It's not supposed to give an instant level 5, but we see FPS are the ones that just got that level 5. We saw Pensato tonk out on the Bebo because they're waiting for this resurgence res is about to come in. Now this is about to be FPS's fight, Magical.
Yeah, ready to kind of skirmish out. Table kind of nearby, and it seemed that FPS are already level 5, gonna scare away BL, but they do get the knock on Adolphi and push back. But that is going to be the Abyssal Breaker, and this is where it's difficult. You're level 5s against only 3 on the other side. Doesn't matter if you get the early knock. They're already pushing back, finding the knock on a Vincent. The one soon to fall 2. The minion might do the work for them, or Pensato on Bebo nearly was able to take the hammer and get the baseball bat whacking.
Pensato just causing chaos that whole time on the Bebo. It's like such a cool character, bro. I've been having so much fun watching Bebo the last couple of days. He literally is just an agent of chaos. That's like his whole thing, and he just makes for like just dude. Did I miss an elim? Is there a squad out already?
TBL got eliminated, so the big leagues are the first team eliminated. They have been struggling every time I've been watching them. And unfortunately did get the bad end of the flip that you're talking about with the bug with the boss. And now we're seeing that Nutty struggling up against Riftwalkers who are already punishing and splitting them apart. Emotion's gonna be a sacrificial lamb. Bullet Train nearly finds Scar, but Kogi was able to hop aboard it and should be able to get a res on top of the Bullet Train.
Is it Kogi? I was trying to figure out. Did you get official?
I think I got an official one from the teammates that said Kogi.
Okay, cool. I started defaulting to cool guy because I just didn't know because
Yeah,
we knew it wasn't
Yeah, I used to say Kogai,
Yeah.
and then someone said no, it should be Kogi.
Kogi.
I'm like, okay. And it was a teammate, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go with Kogi until I get corrected again.
All right, Kogi it is. So we're sticking with that until we get corrected again. Sounds good. Coming up here, we got Hogs just to the south of FPS. Resurgence res is coming through for both. Kingpin coming in over the top. That's actually such a cool thing for... Oh, Tom Kick is here, bro.
Tom Kick!
What?
Oh, man, subbing in for the Go Hogs, and there's that pull. Legendary Tom Kick always finds the hooks to land, but FPS are level 5. Punting in the bomb. Pensato does get knocked down. Bebo is gone. They have to use the Abyssal Breaker, and they're trying to see if they can hold up enough time for that resurgence to come online. They do scatter like the wind, and Go Hogs are in hot pursuit. Now that it is nighttime, almost a couple seconds away from that, should be able to chase inside of town.
Yeah, the Hogs got a couple subs today. 2 subs. We got Toilet and we got Tom Kick. But making them look actually kind of scary with the Tom Kick sub on the Kingpin. One of the best Kingpins in the game here. Shopmark doing his best to... Oops, did not mean to peel out there. Shopmark doing his best to just live here. He does have teammates left, trying to work some
out the
magic
hammer.
over the abyss.
Toilet, though, I gotta give Toilet a lot of credit there with the glider tech, was able to feather away from that one and find that knockdown on a shot mark. Even going to confirm that, but the rest of IPS had already gotten back on their feet. So they are going to all be able to resurrect with the help of that resurgence.
Yeah, and something cool we've been seeing is Dolphy Vix is on the Brawl arc. So I've been seeing her train in Brawl lately, and that's cool to see. Just another...
Yeah, getting out of the Celeste and going on to Brawl, even though a lot of other people have kind of been stepping away from Brawl after all those nerfs.
Yeah, the nerfs are interesting. If you're a Brawl player, if you're used to his melee range, it does feel bad. Like, I can confirm that, because now it was a 30% area reduction. The visual effects were not changed. So now the visual effects don't match the hitbox. You'll actually hit people. It looks like you hit people with the tip of your swing, and you don't because of that reduction. So I think, you know, if they're going to keep it that, they probably will wait to see how the nerfs are playing out. But if they do end up keeping it, I'd really like to see, you know, that get adjusted to where it's actually a reliable visual indicator of where the swing's at versus kind of where it's at now, you know.
I mean, granted, the game still is in open beta. The team, if you didn't see the announcement as well, they had been on break during the winter break. So now that they're back in the office, they are going to be able to work on a lot of things. And speaking of working on a lot of things, Gap getting jumped on. They split up, though. They had one member that they were tackling in Pine, but the fact that the last door were able to get so many other, and Strikel Jordan was able to stay on his feet, Gap now have to get away from the battle. It is day 2. No longer can they rely on Resurgence to get back on their feet. And Paz is looking to punish that while we see that Fell first eliminated. We're having a good fight all the way against Nutty. Kogi is the only one left on the run for Nutty and far away from their Kingpin, who does get confirmed as a kill.
Sorry, Magical, if you it keeps auto panning me away, bro. So if you see me pan, yeah, it's like a lot of times I'm not doing the swap, so it'll like auto swap me sometimes. Coming back to that fight we were just at though, TLD back in it with BDE, or BDE coming in now, looking a little rough for him.
Yeah, they're showing up for Gap, kind of taking their place, and I don't know if you want that, not against all this gold armor on the last door. And they get TNN right there, and looking for Aiden, who wasn't able to join with the rest of the team, and having to have your oath split apart should be able to get the res for the team if need be, since they aren't all down, but not together makes it really difficult, unlike here for Kogi, who is the solitary oath for the team.
Yeah, and he's looking to just not... Fell is still looking for him. They want that Elim, and he's just trying to not let him find him. I think this guy, Tyrannical, actually heard him, so we might end up seeing some oath v oath violence. Hopefully Kogi can just get away and peel here. Looks like he probably is through the rings.
Coming over. It's kind of funny how many subs there are and how many swaps of teams there are for these scrims today.
Yeah.
Improving, not on main characters.
Right.
It kind of is funny, and we already mentioned Tom Kick here subbing in for the Go Hogs.
With the invis.
As well. But this is going up against Gap, the fully squatted team, and Rin almost gets taken down while Nidhogg barely surviving.
Oh my God.
Jackalak, and who's up into the storm and waiting to see if they can re-engage on a Rin, but doesn't have the surge connect. And now that the storm is starting to collapse upon them, look at built different entirely. Aiden has gotten the team back up, and Gap are going to look to be the targets as they get one, and Nidhogg going to be the next target, nearly taking down Height. Only one left. This Brawl by themselves.
Dude.
2 teams upon them. Make it 3.
Height is playing this so well.
Height doing such a great job finding the knocks for the team, staying alive too, getting away from the storm. And now that FPS have taken the spot, it means that they are now at the team facing down BDE.
Bro, that whole fight, I was just watching Height because I didn't have to do what you were doing, and it was crazy. Like, he just played that so well, bro. So many good sidesteps, an execute to bring him back to like close to full, and able to escape, get his team out. Goes for this top res, is going to get found out by Fell, so sort of pushed off of it. At the same time, BDE collapsing into Rift here in Iron Acres. We're going to have to see how this ends up playing out. They're getting sniped by the creeps on the right at the same time. Looks like they actually don't want that, so they're going to end up peeling south. But Hawk's right here, bro.
Oh, looking for the pull, nearly landing that. Tom getting back with the team, but you have to be careful. We talked about the teams that were in Ion Acres. Riftwalkers were there nearly finding Jang, but he was able to get over the wall. Now that Riftwalkers are continuing this chase, we're seeing that other teams hear the battle, they hear the rumble, not going to connect that blast off for Scarb. They still want Jang, but Jang breaking some ankles. He has been doing some absolute work on this myth in the past, and might be able to do some more. But we do see on the kill feed that we had another team
shit, my bad.
eliminated, and Gap nearly finding Feld too on the other side of the storm. But Feld do have one more member remaining.
My bad, Gap. Just missed your teammates. Sorry, boys. I was listening to Magical. I was distracted. I was gonna say, bro, I saw your clip of the Jang jukes when you were casting it. He had a crazy like 1 minute series of jukes.
Absolutely wild to watch him just. I don't know how he survived that whole thing.
Well, I think like
once you're like, okay, yeah, that's good, Jang, but like you said, a whole minute of it, you're like, this is impossible.
Well, if you look at Myth as a character, he's one of the players that probably has the most total hours on Myth out of maybe anyone in the game. If you look at like, you know, play testing included, like pre-release and everything. And you can see it in his movement, because I've always thought, you know, Myth is kind of my main, like my personal favorite character. I just love bows in pretty much any game I play, but what she can do with the phase walk, like literal walk through walls, when you think about that, you're like, no one should be able to catch this character if you were like really good at understanding the map, understanding your movement potential, and he is. And right as I say that, Rift, a huge push on the FPS.
Whoa. And pushing away Scarb. This is FPS's
bro.
battle. They found a perfect angle.
Wings
Scarb
back
has
in.
to use the hover wings to try to get back with the rest of the team to help out Neff, but Neff is still caught alone, and FPS are hot in pursuit as they are looking to take down the support, take down the Bishop. Have to hop over the Abyss. No B-bomb to connect. But we go all the way over to built different entirely. We're getting chased down by the last door. And TNN, I don't know if you're going to be able to get out of this one too easily, especially with the last door chasing this down. It's a blast up, huge with a punt back, hoping to get some distance. Same with the grenade, but they are on top of you. They are set upon you. They get hard to get away, even as Bishop. But you have done so enough. While Pine does find this angle, not even the punt away can save BDE's life.
Dude, and the other thing that's cool is we've been seeing Pine on the Zeph, which is crazy because he's just only been Shrike this whole time I've known him.
Me too. It's always been the Shrike Jordan for a reason, right?
He was like
You
the
always see
truest
that.
Shrike man, you know, never didn't play Shrike, even at the highest level. Like the only Shrike in competitive scrims, bro.
All right, but this is what I've been wanting to see. I've been wanting to see a Bebo battle where the Bebo actually can do stuff. And we see that Tonk Tonk has been used to try to start off this fight, but it didn't get enough. Wasn't able to get into the back line. They heal up, blast up from Scarf. Trying to separate the fight to Shop, though. Doesn't mean taking theirs, that Tonk Tonk, but by yourself in the storm. Have to glide back while Tom finds the angle for the Go Hogs. They show up out of nowhere, and poor FPS, they thought that they were the team that were setting up the battle. They were the ones in control, but it is now going to be Go Hogs up in the air, looking for Rift Walkers, taking down Paria, looking for one more now. That's pod racing and eliminating the Rift Walkers, while FPS are none the wiser. They are now getting chased away and up into the storm, trying to juke while Pensado hopes that they can regain the crown for Dolphy, now wearing that crown and waiting out the timer while Tom Kick is still pressuring on to FPS, looking for these angles, looking for any pulls, but gonna barely miss that one.
Dude, Hogs got such a good situation there. They come up from the bottom of that three-way fight, completely wipe Rift while Rift is dealing with FPS, and able to get, I think, a pick on FPS as well. Pensato been really fun to watch on the Bebo. He's been Tom Hook,
right
dude.
There,
Tom
as
Kick.
you say it, it's always Tom Hook. He should change his name at this
Tom
point.
Hook,
He
he
lands
should, bro.
such great hooks there with the hover wings. To take
For some
that Bebo
reason, he's
out.
stuck in my brain like that now, bro. I just think of him as Tom Hook. But dude, we have like two of the literal best players in EU, Aiden and Tom Kick. Aiden's a pretty staple sub actually for NA, which is really cool. But
yeah, he's always been showing up for like whatever team kind of needs them. Just be like, all right, I'm willing to play. I'm down to rumble.
Dude,
and
this TLD gear, bro. Look at this.
Yeah, look at that gear.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my goodness. 4 exotics, even having the 2 abyssal scales. Absolutely crazy for them. I don't know if any team can even stand up to this team with how powerful they are looking.
The level 10 on Hogs will help if they can wipe Gap here cleanly without TLD engaging. That might be their only shot, because if TLD find these guys fighting, I think it's going to be a TLD game here. And I think TLD hears it. We see him on the minimap moving up right as that's happening. These guys split. Tom is literal one of the best players at these situations. He's so aware in final circles. He's constantly calling out in comms where the other team is. Like if that right there when they were fighting Gap, I guarantee you Tom in comms was saying, "Where's TLD? Where's TLD? Where's TLD? They're south." Like, you know, don't overcommit here. We know TLD is looking. And if you watch Tom's stream, it's like he is constantly like calming about the third party team in these final circles, and it makes you realize, Pie, no, brother.
Wasn't paying attention. Choo choo, where's the whistle? Because you gotta be careful of that bullet train. As now Gap, we're looking to see if they can find the Hogs. Lemur on the tracks, but keep in mind it's still a bullet train, so Kenneth's gonna be the first casualty from both fighting. As Go Hogs still have that pressure. They wanted to confirm it, but Paz making it difficult. Up into the eye of the storm they go to try to see if they can start up the fight. But a bullet train finds another back line, nearly taking out Paz. As CLD are still up on their feet, and they put the pressure back. Each team is down a member. No team is fully formed.
Yeah, this is, and it's interesting seeing Lemur on Myth. I think he's very recently started the Myth arc. I mean, this guy can basically play every hunter at a good level, but he's, you know, one of the ones that can take him to the very top level. And it looks like kind of starting his Myth arc, because we normally see Phenom on the Myth, but Phenom is a very good Felix. Felix has been one of his staple hunters for a very long time, and so it's interesting with him on the Felix. Lemur moves to the Myth, and we've seen Myth kind of rise a bit in Prio Magical over like the last month. In these competitive scrims, basically like a real version of Shrike, like a sniper with zone control that actually has some mobility. And it's cool to see Lemur on her, you know?
I think it's due to Lemur being one of those pro brawl players we saw for so long. And we talked about if you're used to brawl and now having to play with the nerfs onto it, it does feel awkward for you as a player.
For
you have to get used to those nerfs. Well, if you're newer to Brawl, you don't notice it because obviously you never really played it when it was at that broken state in the first place.
Yeah, and it's like, I've talked to a couple of people about this, but it's such an interesting conversation when you talk about Brawl and now Jhin and potentially maybe Bebo, where these true melee hunters, they're difficult to balance. It's a completely independent, almost balanced challenge than all the other hunters because they don't have a ranged ability. So you have to give them excess mobility to be able to get on top of these ranged hunters. And the price of that is they can feel very oppressive to play against, right? Brawl being a perfect example of that. Once he's on top of you, and especially, remember last patch they took out his knockback because of the performance thing. So they realized that that was actually a buff for him, so they've put that back in now, so people can actually automatically get that space as he's autoing you. But at the same time, they've reduced the damage of the LMB by 10%. They've reduced the area of the swing by 30%. And I think that's, of all the kind of touches on him, that's probably the biggest one there, is the fact that, and I would say, oh, Tom Kick looking for the stealth here.
Almost was able to find the hook there. Barely does it go wide, so back with the rest of the team, but look at how the Storm is pushing everyone towards the tracks and towards this really tight corridor space. This is always a big one wherever I see bullet trains, when you have this space to work with the walls that can hurt you and thick walls that you have to go through, even as a myth gets difficult to actually reliably get through. I think that's why Hogs are looking for the hook, landing it barely into the back line on a struggle. Jordan with a push back, hoping to get the second win, but now Gap have taken the spot of the last door. Pine is down. I don't think he's going to be able to get back on his feet, but Paz wants to help him do so.
Paz
has to get back, and they are pulling him to make sure they can confirm this. But now Gap have taken that spot to get Gap down, and now Gap already pushing back the last door. But Go Hogs doing the same to them as they found Nidhogg. TLD trying to get the resurrection off in time, but could Go Hogs get on top of him? That's going to be the surge, denying that resurrection and then getting the push back, even with the play of the Firefox Phenom, not getting enough this and second win. The jump pad is there, trying to get away, but Gap are now wearing the crown. Maybe Phenom can make a heroic play with finding height, but only a little bit of damage is coming onto Lemur as he is still on the tracks and has nowhere really to go. Phase walk onto Tom Kick, pushing him into the zone, but not finding the pick. Instead, it's going to be denying the hook landing from Tom Kick, while TLD still pushed back, but nice use of the Vortex Charm to nearly find the pick on the Lemur.
Yeah, we're seeing the literal leadership of Tom Kick. I was just talking about in action here, bro. We see Hogs playing this extremely well. They waited for the engage, and then they took an extra engage on Gap while TLD was getting pushed at the end of that fight. And they're playing this very patiently. You see, they didn't over push Phenom. They know he doesn't have any options. They don't, they did see Height run in and get this crown. They're not over pushing that either. They get their fire. They're repairing. They're doing all the right things here. They have level 10. They have numbers advantage here. They're going, I think the plan is probably we eliminate TLD here.
Phase walk could have been used, but instead leaving out one to dry. Phenom was the sacrificial lamb there for TLD as Lemur was barely able to make it back into the circle. But looking at how this is starting to play against them, not looking so good. So grabbing the crown, but the second win does get the elimination with the help of the Storm.
Yeah.
Now it's just go Hogs and Gap the fight on the tracks. Tom Kick looking to push up forward, looking for Rin, but not landing the hook just yet. Instead, might want to use that on a Nidhogg, because that could be the important member to grab. Eye of the Storm nearly having the bullet train do a lot for the Napalm, did a lot too. And the blast helping so much with the jump pad, separating the fight, and go Hogs having nowhere to go. Tom Kick pushed back, healing up forever, only taking one with him while Jang is on the other side. But against the world, against Gap, I don't know if he can pull off this miracle. Nidhogg goes over, but a phase walk as well from Jang. Barely, no, he gets snapped back and pushed against Nidhogg. Could be able to beat him in the 1v1 duel.
Let's go,
beat him out
Jang!
as the better myth. This is something we expect from Jang, but now it's Height on top of him with the knockdown and the push back into the Storm.
GG, dude, such a cool final circle there. We literally was really cool that how well Hogs were playing that, and they played it down to the kind of 4v4, the 1v1 against the other team. And there, I think we kind of just saw the mechanical prowess of Gap, right? These are literal some of the best mechanical players in the game, and they've been playing together now for coming up on a couple months, and so they're starting to really build that team synergy. They pulled in Rin as Rin was kind of starting to get into SUPERVIVE about a month ago, and they've kind of right as I say that, Rin just leaves the I cursed him out of the lobby, bro.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it's because Rin's restarting.
Okay.
At least we get to know that that's what's going on. So should be able to get Rin back shortly. But Rin has been someone, as you talked about, is newer to SUPERVIVE, but not necessarily newer to competitive.
Yeah, and actually an incredible, like an incredible amount of accomplishments that guy has before even coming to SUPERVIVE. Like world champion in Pokemon Unite, I think, and like top 10 in and multiple rank ones in what's that other game? I can't think of the name. It's similar to. It's the like anime version of this that's older. I can't think of the.
Battle Right?
No, it's Eternal Return. Eternal Return. He was like.
Oh god, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
I think he has multiple rank 1 finishes in Eternal Return. And so yeah, a very accomplished gamer in his own right, but recently coming over to SUPERVIVE, getting addicted like the rest of us, and finding himself a spot on Gap, actually in a big part, bro, because of those previous achievements. I was literally watching Nidhogg stream when he kind of he like ran into Rin for the first time when Rin was getting into it, and yeah, it was really cool to see those guys kind of hit it off. And Nidhogg pulled Rin once Nidhogg kind of realized Rin's what kind of his accolades. He pulled him into practice duel, showing him all kind of stuff, and so Rin kind of got that like trial by fire intro to the game where shortly after he's in here, he's learning from literal one of the best players around. So that's like, but my point to all that was that Gap is an extremely like mechanically dialed team. All these players individually are extremely skilled, and now that they've been playing together for a little bit, they're getting really good at playing together. And in that last fight, I think we basically just saw sort of Hogs having multiple subs versus a dialed Gap in the kind of 1v1, and that's going to be a hard fight to win for Hogs when you kind of consider what you're going up against.
Yeah, and I will give Jang a lot of credit with how he was able to play. He is the superior myth. This is not like saying anything against Nidhogg. It's just we were talking about how many hours Jang has on Myth before people were even looking at Myth as a possibility.
Yeah.
Jang was already playing this. So you're going up against the person who has the most hours on this character. But there's only so much you can do by yourself, especially with the Brawl on the other side and Height being such a good Brawl player. It's pretty much one of those great answers to Myth, something that can stay on top of Myth despite her mobility of getting over walls, utilizing that phase walk to get away from a lot of sticky situations.
Yeah, and Myth is one of these hunters where she can perform really well with a team around her, but it's much harder to pull that stuff off when you're solo, like isolated. Like she has a lot of very challenging 1v1 mashups, and there are characters like Brawl, for example, where if you don't have your dash, or if you even have one without like a wall nearby where you can use it to do phase walk, like the Brawl, once the Brawl is on top of you, it's sort of like, especially if you miss your R&B to try to peel him off and pin him, it's kind of like GG, where you're out of options a bit. So, you know, that situation, Jang in the 4v1 at the end there, that's gonna be real tough, I think, no matter what Myth you are.
Exactly. Like, you're not only just pulling off the mad jukes like we saw the other day from Jang, but you're somehow getting these incredible knocks when there's no Abyss to really work with. It's going to be a really difficult task for Jang. He did his best that he could, but second place ain't bad, especially up against Gap. But we are on to our second game of the day, and we get to see that it is Final Destination for our Storm Shift. And with a very centralized drop, getting us towards more of the southern area, I'm really curious to see how this is going to work, especially because it's Ion Acres and I believe Chaos Steps that have our golds. So you have this opportunity to grab these golds and then start migrating south for the winter.
Yeah, and something that's in play now that is like not obvious to the viewer that hasn't played since the patch on Wednesday is the global shop is now in play. So at any point here, these players can hit a button, open the global shop menu, and make a purchase with their gold. And then that's going to come down in like an Amazon crate from the sky. And if like any teammates buy anything, they'll get added to like the Prime package on the way down. But we basically see, you know, almost like a better reason to be dropping Cold Fang even when nothing's going on down here, because you can instantly utilize that gold. And the kicker is every global shop at the start of the game has 12 random powers. One of those is an exotic. So it's literal first team to rush that gold amount is going to be able to be the ones to pull that exotic off the shop and kind of get it. I don't know what happened to Krillo up here. We're going to pretend like that didn't happen.
It's okay. I will say another interesting strategy is that of Nutty. They always, every single time, drop at Dawn Caps and then split up for Dawn Caps and for Shards of Fate.
Dude.
Every single game, regardless of what it is, this is always their strategy. This is something that we've kind of seen them develop for a bit. I think it's almost like their answer, since there are a lot of these little loot boxes that you can grab. You can get some gold keys. You can get several various things that a lot of people don't tend to contest.
Dude, that's like a really good call out, bro, because I didn't even really like realize that until you just said that. But now that you said it, they literally do always start up there. And it's like a really cool, I love seeing teams like start to make these unique strategies, and we can see that even having like a little more reason to do it now, because with the global shop changes, the changes to the normal shops are there are now 2 guaranteed powers like per shop that are like always going to be there. So you now have reliable locations across the map to acquire specific powers. And so, you know, it could even be a better reason for Nutty to be dropping up here if, you know, one of their hunters benefits from the 2 powers in this shop or in the 2 powers in this shop, you know, etc. And so I think like I really like the global shop and those sort of like map changes, because I think it makes gold more valuable, but then it pushes the creative strategy of dropping. You can actually target farm specific powers now from shops. You can also, you know, make gold part of your strategy to rush buying powers out of the global shop regardless of where you are. And it really, you know, they said it in the patch notes, but the intent was to like open up the early game and end game strategies a bit. And I feel like it's done that pretty successfully. Like we see, you know, a pretty and that's the other thing is yesterday and today, like this game, I see a lot of these teams very split off the drop, Magical, versus what we used to see like last month, where like especially at the beginning of Resurgence, bro, it was just carnage, remember? Like it was
Yes.
just like but I feel like they've kind of figured out a bit how to play around Resurgence, and they kind of realize like maybe the early Resurgence kills are a little useless, and now with these other objectives on the map, kind of the PvE strategy rises in priority a bit, right?
And I'm really curious to see what happens when they do fix the bug for the bosses giving that level 5. 'Cause
Yeah.
let's be real. Like, when I first saw it, I'm like, that seems a little too busted. And I'm glad to hear that it was just a bug and not an intended thing, because it is something that is a little too wild.
Yeah.
Like right here, we see that having level 5s already for
Dude,
Go
this
Hogs,
fan
and TBL are trying their best to kind of hold on to this angle outside, seeing these fans and utilizing them to kind of create some chaos against Go Hogs, while Tom Kick was looking for a fancy
monster
play,
nuke
but
there
just
forces them all off.
toss the nuke. Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do here at CBL? Vincent's trying to chase Tom Kick, but Tom Kick gets outplayed. What? Oh, man, I thought Tom Kick had that
It
one
looked
for
like
sure.
Tom Kick slammed him, didn't it?
It did on my screen. Definitely did on my screen, but I'm wondering if it was a little bit of lag, because Tom Kick is EU playing on NA.
Oh, true.
Could have something
True.
like that that's going on right now, but Go Hogs do have that resurgence. Tom Kick will be back on his feet momentarily. Staying with TBL, they're getting their members, but now that is day 2. This is where things are going to matter. What a big hook to land there. The slam does take down Pico Pico, but Tom Kick had to trade his life. But Jack-a-Lacken on top of the one, and now it's just Vincent. Eye of the Storm has been popped, and they've got the static build up slam helping out, but Jack-a-Lacken deletes TBL.
Monster fight from Hogs there, dude. Showing up with the subs today. Very well played by both Tom and Jack-a-Lacken to kind of bring it back. We saw Jang starting to early peel a little bit as stuff was going south to make sure they didn't get squad wiped. He comes in right at the end there to help clean up and get the res on Tom, but very well played by these two. And something cool about Resurgence Magical with Kingpin that I think me and you have maybe talked about is the fact that you do get spawned in hella high in the air, and then your slam damage scales off of how high you are.
Yep, it's just hilarious to watch that he just kind of glides in, gets an extra slam, and just watch him either burst someone down from full to next to nothing, or get the automatic dunk afterwards. And speaking of automatic dunk, Asura about to get dunked right here. Spicy Marinara forced to use Chilling Finale, but they are already on top of the Celeste. They've split apart Asura. Nice get away from Spicy Marinara. Try to get away from both Height and Rin, but they are mobile and they are on top of the Celeste. Who has to skate into the storm. Roper doing a lot though on this shift in the 1v2 scenario.
Let's go.
Nearly takes down Kenneth, but now that Rin showed up to back him up, make sure that Roper is going to bail out of the skirmish, no longer wanting any part of it.
Yeah, we got some violence coming out of the storm here between TLD and Rift. It looks like TLD getting a bit of the better of it. Scarb does get away. Resurgence over, though, so going to have to look for that real res at this point. In a bit of a tricky spot. Going to run right into Gap here, so wants to be careful. Right as I'm saying that, we have BDE pushing up into FBS, playing over this big patch of Abyss. So they got a fire down on this little island. FPS pretty split, though. Dolphy and Pensato down here, Madly Dead, and Shabmarg up to the top. So they're going to want to probably get a reset here. Abyssal Eye, though, is going to help them, you know, kind of keep that intel on where everyone's at. It looks like... I was going to say Pensato getting pushed here, but I was going to say it looks like BDE is, like, up to something.
I like that from that Bebo, using the Tong to get over towards this respawn, but missing the B-bomb. Slingshot not getting any damage either. Might be able to find a spike, but gets spiked instead. Aiden, just a little bit better, was able to outplay the slingshot that possibly could have gotten the spike. Now we go over to Asura and Go Hogs, who are skirmishing over some camps. Vortex Charm barely going wide. Eye of the Storm has been popped, but that is Tom Kick with the hooks onto Lunatherias and making sure they're getting the dashes away from Asura. Scattering from the battle after Gaydan has already gone down. The rest of Asura not fully grouped. They have Lunatherias, who is not with the team, still trying to get over this wall, waiting for Jang to maybe step a little bit too far, but the Vortex Arm barely going wide. The Spice Marinara having skate over to this little island. Tom Kick already has the flank. Not going to be able to land the hook this time around, but making sure Spicy Marinara cannot rejoin with Rope for another escape, but they're on top of this Celeste and making it hard to get away.
Yeah. Dude, Hog's looking scary, bro. Looking scary today. Double sold here. They got Vive Soul and Shrapnel Soul very early on. Fang on Jang. Already double pinks on Jang. Everyone else on blues. Tom Kick on a legendary and a purple. So all they need really is to scale their armor a bit, wipe one of these teams with some of the golds, and they're going to like kind of be on the power advantage here. Lunatheria is going to be the last one left for ASR here. She'll try to kite it out against BD. Is going to get finally taken out there. Have you seen Magical, the fort?
Fortress?
Yeah.
Yes,
The
yes,
fort
I
power?
have
I really
seen
like
it.
that one too.
I like that one, and from what I've heard, it actually can give you some really wacky resets when you start building it. That you can actually have it as almost like an anti-spike if you time it perfectly.
Oh, right.
Where you can save teammates as they're getting spiked because there's enough of a window that
That's
you can
cool.
build it and get them instantly popped up, and it even gives them a little bit of a boost up into the air.
That's really cool. Dolphy 5 seconds on this ground. It looks like she is just gonna.
Nice.
Oh, but she's gonna go right into Nutty. That's the worst spot to go.
Almost
Don't get
into Nutty.
spiked. Oh,
1 second. Does get it. FPS are back, but they're instantly fighting up against Nutty and already having to lose out on Shop. While Dolphy narrowly got spiked on the other side. The B bomb has been thrown out, but taking the Tonk into enemy lines. Not gonna look too good. This Bebo has to be careful. Now that you don't have Madly, Dolphy doing a lot to get the team back on their feet, but only Madly and Pensado are alive, and they are separated. Go Hogs not going to allow them to rejoin and regroup. Instead, they are going to chase Madly into BDE,
Yeah.
and Madly will get taken down, while Go Hogs then look to see if they can front up against BDE, getting them pushed back, but Dapper on the other side, they've got a good flank angle, and BDE about to get third party. That's the slam from Tom Kick with a Vortex Charm to land on a clap as they clap Bebo as well. Only TNN going to be alive here with Aiden, and Aiden throwing out the rescue turtle to try to get Cowboy Bebo back on their feet so they have at least 3 with them.
Big turtle. So actually, Gap's just going to let them go south, and it looks like Gap wants to take on Hogs again here. This is rematch of the final 2 teams of last game, and Gap's looking at these powers, or the souls, saying, "This is the team we want to wipe here, boys." Look at these double souls, pretty good powers. Like, we need this stuff. So I think we're going to see a bloody 4v4 here in a second. Pretty even, I would say, in power, or in like sort of total power.
I agree with you on that one. The only thing is going to be these golds for Gap. Having 2 members, having gold armor, even if you have the Shrapnel Soul, going to be difficult to fully get through. Jang is going to be the target. He was up front for the pull, landing onto one, but it's Height, not the one you wanted to bring on top of Jang, and now Jang should be taken down. Try to see if they can glide back up with the rest of the team. They have the bonfire being sent out.
Huge nuke there, bro.
Nice nuke to separate the fight so they can at least get Jang back from Wisp form.
If you don't know how to use nuke, that is such a good way to use it right there. If you find a gap somewhere you can use it for zone control, like that is a perfect use of nuke, where some people feel like it has a really long cooldown, like time to come down, and it's really hard to hit or whatever. It's almost more of a zoning tool than it is for getting kills, and that was like a perfect example of how you would want to use it as a zoning tool, and it basically forces Gap completely off of that fight, that they basically had advantage in. So very nice nuke there. And we come over here, TLD kind of just cleaning up Rift. It looks like they were maybe a bit split at the beginning of that fight. Scarb does get out. Gonna have to try to make the hero Bishop run here. I'm trying to find him on the list. Yeah, it's just him. Hoverwings. Yeah, gonna be a challenging run there but they had some really good fights yesterday, Magical. Oh, huge hook.
Krillo, I love that. Finding toilets, so already taking the Zeph out and making it a little bit easier up against Go Hogs, who decided that they are going to portal on away. Hopefully be able to find some sort of respawn beacon, but we have a lot of teams that are broken up. We have Riftwalkers only having Scarb, I believe. Just seeing right there that Go Hogs have lost a member. FPS have been struggling. That Brawl and Bebo being the only surviving members. BDE almost getting fully back on their feet, but now already getting separated. STLD has seen the crown. They spotted that out, and they take out TNN. Looking for this Oath 2 to eliminate a team with the Flight of the Firefox denied. Aiden nearly finding the spike back. Spin dash towards these islands. A long time remaining still to wear that crown and be the most wanted.
Yeah, they are just gonna let Aiden go there. They don't want to over chase and run into another team, you know, trying to make something happen. As we look at the map here, like you were saying, Magical, just scraps of teams, like kind of scattered about, looking for their opportunity. Yeah, but Go Hogs has been on the offensive, on the assault all game since the very start of the game. You know, riding the momentum from the second place almost victory last game. Oh, dude! Oh no!
Crashed into the spikes. No, Pensato.
Unfortunate,
the Bebo
bro.
legend. Unfortunate, and that leaves Dolphy by herself with no crown and no territory to work with. Could get the box res because that was a crash that technically doesn't count as a kill. The Scarb now on the hover wings, trying to dash back. You get the revive in time.
Oh my god, bro, he gets
trying to get back in, but Scarb was able to get the knock and actually eliminates FPS as Scarb should be taken down too. So 2 teams eliminated back to back. One of them being by Scarb and Riftwalkers, while Aiden, 30 seconds still remaining on Oath by yourself with so many teams around you, bouncing on these tires, trying to heal up the best you can, with all these teams surrounding you, even with the spin dash and a second wind body block by the right shield.
No
Aiden,
way!
not enough time to get back. Barely was short on that. Instead, it's the team to fall, while Go Hogs now find themselves with so many teams around them, and only Tom Kick remains in the middle of everybody, and with no crown to be seen. Not looking too easy for the EU sub of Go Hogs to get away. Mortar sent out, hoping to glide right above the trash, but at least they got Toilet on the other side wearing the crown, so Tom Kick playing distraction for the team for a long time.
That grapple, bro.
No way are you getting out of this.
The grapple up.
Might be able to do so, yet, like you said, the grapple up has saved his life. Well, Krilla was hoping to find a pull, but barely went wide.
Dude, this man, like, knows the mechanics of this game so well. He literally times his jump and his momentum to grapple up over this tiny lip, and then that gives him enough momentum to get up over this rock, and he literally grapples his way out of that situation. Very well played there by Tom Kick to keep Hogs in it at least a little bit, trying to play with Toilet on that crown, but TLD sees it now, pushing down from the north. It's not looking good, bro.
Not looking good at all, especially with the pistol breakers everywhere, and Toilet getting targeted by all these teams so they can get the knockout. And Nutty, I believe, are all back on their feet. They were the team that was wearing the crown as well, so Tom Kick by themselves, and we've seen this a couple times. Aiden before, the EU brethren,
like the tire angle.
Save NA. It is now Tom Kick trying to do the same here for Go Hog. Without a shield though, and Gap on the other side. A nice knock, making it hard for Tom Kick to play this game out. Even if you got double soul, so many teams are targeting you, Tom Kick, and they will eliminate
Must have
Go
been on
Hog.
cooldown.
That goes over to Nutty, so they're going to be the team, I think, that can pick up all these souls, and that is going to be difficult for any team to go up against.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. Nutty comes out on top with the souls. Huge kind of play there to secure that kill on the Tom. Guarantee those, but right as I say that, bro, TLD just smashing into him.
And putting up some emergency platforms. Gap 2 are trying to play into this one, while first eliminated are in an awkward spot with a Storm on the other side. Kogi can't get back up, so Gap take him down. Then TLD get eliminated.
Oh my god,
first eliminated, so somehow it is now Gap against Fell. Well, Fell have been taking a lot of damage, and they are back onto their fort, and that don't look good for them, so Gap take victory.
Dude, that went from like 20 miles an hour to like 100 miles an hour in like 3 seconds, and then it was just over. We had like 6 teams, and then it was just over.
That was, I mean, we had 8 teams with how many players down? I think it was 8 teams with 24 players. So we had so many teams. The average was that there was a player down per team.
That's awesome.
At 8 teams.
Dude, and we saw Scarb trying to make that hero run. Ends up getting a pick, sneaks a squad elim in with like 10% health as the last player.
Imagine if Scarb had a crown.
Dude, yeah, that would have been big. Dude, Scarb had a play yesterday that I saw. He got a double Bishop punch into a nuke, bro, and just tapped them both. It was so nice.
Oh my god. I love plays like that. And that's the great thing about SUPERVIVE. It's just because there's so much going on, there's always room for these absolutely wild plays to happen. And because they're playing so many different games of these scrims to try to get better at the game, you have even more of a likelihood to witness these kind of moments happen.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, bro. Sorry, I was just like looking at chat here. They're
Yeah, me too. I was looking at that as well. As I was saying that, I'm like, okay, so I don't know if they kind of talked to you about this yesterday, but the players have been now deciding what shift is going to be played, so that way they're not getting repeats. So they
Gotcha.
can
Yeah,
actually get
I
even
did see
more
that. I
practice.
just saw that Jang was like calling it out and manually changing it. So yeah, I figured it was like they're trying to get reps on every storm shift
Yes,
instead of it just like randomly being the same one 3 times in a row or
exactly.
whatever. Yeah.
And yeah, because I think we had that one day where I think it was Final Destination like 3 times in a row. Then it shifted once, then went back to Final Destination again. And so the players are kind of like, all right, we want to have practice on all the different storm shifts. And so we already had Bullet Train, Final Destination. Now it's glider engines. Okay, one of the craziest ones. I don't know your thoughts on it. Is the unstable portals
I
and
literally like
how
I haven't got to cast one and I haven't got to play one of those yet. So I literally it sounds crazy, but I haven't like seen it in action yet.
So
Um
sadly, that was the game. Remember, I was telling you I had issues with the stream today. Thankfully, the stream has been
oh,
perfect.
the
It's
one
been
you're
saying
saying was like a really good one that it didn't get
it was a
captured.
really good cast, and it got completely lost. It was on unstable portals, and there are some crazy plays that can happen with that
I
because
bet. Is it
it's
literally
crazy.
that power? It's literally like a bunch of those, the new power, it's like a bunch of those spawning
No,
randomly?
it's the portals like you have at Stacks at Academy. It's
Oh.
those portals. And so
Oh.
they're actually they can be pretty far range away from each other. And they
Oh.
move. They move with the storm. So they're unstable for that reason because they're constantly moving and they only last for so long where they connect one portal to another part of the map.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. That's like that's really interesting. So and then it's actually portals you can like shoot through and all that good stuff. Like actually like fully play around. And then
Yes.
do they then expire? Like they go away after some
Yes.
time?
They go away and then new ones will
Gotcha,
pop up.
gotcha. Is
Yeah,
that
so you'll
like
see
and that
like
happens like
times
once per like the per shift, like once per circle shift or something like that?
yeah, circle shift, and they will despawn as you get the new circle,
I
and
see,
then
I
new
see.
ones will form where the new circle is going to be.
Gotcha, gotcha. That makes sense.
It's really fun to watch. Like you can
That
have some
sounds cool.
great jukes where it's like, if you are lucky enough with some of your drops, or uh, depending on where some of the portals are, you can literally hop in one portal, have the whole enemy team chasing you, and then you juke all the way to the next portal and use that one to keep moving around constantly.
I see, I see. That dude, yeah, you could do. I mean, like all kinds of stuff. And imagine like I'm just like instantly picturing a Bebo like carrying a bomb through a portal with a bunch of people on a freaking car.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Oh my goodness.
It's
Well,
like
we only got one Bebo player right now, and that has been Pensato.
Pensato carrying the torch for us. Love to see it, bro. But I think,
And
you know, after having seen just a couple days of gameplay and some clips, I think he has some real potential, Magical. Like,
right.
you
I
know,
think Bebo is a great counter towards certain things like Brawl. Brawl and Shiv and Jewel kind of struggle against Bebo because Bebo has great ways of. I feel like Bebo is one of these. It's a very interesting style where you have your initiation tool in Tonk Tonk, but you can even just hold a charged bat and be on top of something like a myth, and nothing can really jump on you now because any of the hunters that actually normally would try to jump into the backline onto a myth, you just whack with the bat once, and then you have enough time to charge it up again and keep doing that while myth is also hitting him too.
yeah, a really good point. And you can even have your bomb down next to you threatening that as well, right? Because it has like a little sticky effect, it seems like, where if they like that, if they try to push you and you're guarding your myth with your charged bat and your bombs down, literally one bat swing and one bomb explosion might be enough to just, you know, annihilate, especially those like a Jewel, like a Shiv, like these hunters that are exactly right, like are looking to go backline and dive. What's up?
Krillo
Oh,
is
Krillo
also
on the
now
Bebo, let's go.
Playing Bebo, getting away from the typical Kingpin that we normally see out of Nutty. Going with the double Bebo now. I'm happy to see it. I want more Bebo. I want to be able to get the Tonk Tonk calls. I have yet to get like a great Tonk Tonk call.
Going in with the Tonk Tonk.
Even though it's more like a mini, they say cart, but if you look at it, it's the same structure as the train.
It has.
Are we gonna start calling the train a cart now too?
It's pulled some design influence from the train, the train aesthetics in the Tonk Tonk.
Yeah, next thing they're gonna tell me is Thomas the Tank Engine is a cart, and that just ain't, that's not gonna fly with me. It is definitely a train. And speaking of train, unfortunately, Nidhogg getting run over right there, ran right into the last door, and gonna be happy that Resurgence is still a thing, and we'll be right back on their feet momentarily.
Yeah, we saw Gap going for that split 2-2 start down here in Scavenger Bay. TLD kind of ruins the day by finding out 2 of them pushing down immediately. It's like Schreikel, Jordan, and Pine was a little split there, still on the level 1, but they're going to be just fine. Phenom on 4 already. We saw BDE getting an early knock, but Pensato, our boy, on Bebo with FPS here, looking to kind of win this race over into Enshrine and get these levels before TLD can kind of catch him. BDE,
so
another
kind of
kill.
Messed up a little bit on the hook there from the Bebo play, where you tried to use the grappling hook Bebo effect from the Kingpin, what is it, Zeep is what they call him. And yeah, looking here over at Academy, Asura, I actually have yet to see anyone go towards this particular island.
Oh yeah,
the
new
first time
island.
in a cast I've seen anybody actually go towards it. So unfortunately, it is with Asura getting completely chased down. Aiden, hot in pursuit on the Lunatherias. Should be able to get away from this skirmish while Spicy Marinara takes a lot of the attention. Vortex Charm body blocked by the Bright Shield, so Lunatherius actually is going to be taken down. Jetstream back towards Gridlock. The Spicy Marinara will survive for Asura. And with 2 members down, 14 seconds left, should be enough time for the team to reset while we go all the way back down here. We already saw that FPS was struggling to battle against them and unfortunately get completely eliminated. So no Bebo. It's a sad.
That was such a sad.
There it is.
Perfect sad whistle, bro. On fucking, sorry, on point.
It's okay. This is going on my channel and then your YouTube. If we curse, I don't think it matters.
I'm trying to train for professional though, so I'll do my best to not. But yeah, bro, that was awesome.
I had to get the sad whistle.
It was good. It was. I felt the emotion. It felt like a sad. It felt like a sad train.
Hey, we still got one more Bebo at least.
True,
Nutty,
true. Krillo now carrying the
typical.
torch up top here, and Nutty, like you were saying, bro, on their north start
Always.
here.
Always do they start here in the northern part, but it is interesting because Dawn Caps were the thing with the golds this time around, and they aren't wearing any of it. That went over to Fell. First eliminated were the team that were able to grapple control away from Nutty and Dawn Caps and deny them the gold.
Yeah.
That RNG worked out for Nutty, but the rest of the teams actually showed up this time, so they didn't get free reign.
Yeah, and improving back on the Jewel here. We saw him actually rocking. He was on the Hudson all day yesterday, bro. Improving was...
People have been trying it out a little bit more. People have been getting back on the Hudson train. I think it's because there's a couple of stealth buffs to him. His Q range got buffed a little bit.
Dude, that's literally what... I was hanging out in Improving's YouTube stream earlier today, and I was asking him about it, like how he thought Hudson was feeling, and he literally said that, bro. He said there's basically some closet buffs, like where he thinks they gave him his range back.
Okay, they gave him his range back on his Q after you've leveled it up once. So
but no, he was saying he thinks they added 100 back to the unempowered LMB.
Yeah, I was about to say his LMB also got
so, and that wasn't in the patch notes, so that's literally a secret.
It was a stealth buff. It was a stealth buff.
Not to upset anyone on the Hudson, on Team Non-Hudson, which is everyone except the Hudson mains.
Look, as a Hudson main, I will say it makes me very happy where I don't feel as useless anymore.
That's good.
But I'm also really liking Bebo, so we'll see how that ends up going. But right now, Neff not liking the
Dude, Neff in
in
such a weird spot, bro.
Yeah,
what is this?
Trees kind of body blocking him with, unfortunately, that Abyssal Hatchling helping to make it difficult for him to escape. He does get out of there eventually because so many teams are now showing up. We got Go Hogs, the Last Door, and Gap all looking down the barrel of this gun as it's going to be the flight of the Firefox from Phenom, but not catching anybody. And while Paz distracts, he gets pulled in by Tom Kick, and then the Vortex Charm, making it so that Jang can still get these arrows to land. So much damage has been done, but nobody has fallen on either side. Even Phenom taking a lot of damage. Finally, the first one in the Wisp form, allowing Gap to continue the pressure on a TLD while they're getting this damage on a height.
Oh, dude.
Back up, and the last door, it's not looking good for them. They're pushed into the storm, but Go Hogs, they are now in hot pursuit. They want to eliminate another team, but there was just that resurgence just in time for the last door to push back, finding almost a knock while the storm's doing a little bit of damage now onto Gap, but with the TLD surviving, they might be able to find their way on a respawn beacon. Paz will fall to the storm eventually. He can't out-heal that.
Gets the self-res, though.
Anti-heal denies you.
Gets the self-res, though. He's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back. Let's see if he's got enough health to get back in.
I think he should be okay, but I was going to say, we have so much violence happening on this bottom side of the storm, bro. Look at the map here. And out of that fight, dude, Hogs came out in such a good position because that whole time, during that whole fight, Jack Lacken was split, just trying to chip away at that Fate Rewinder. Right when TLD was kind of pushing in, Gaff finds their flank. Huge fight breaks out between these two, while Hog just get to basically free take that Rewinder and then kind of clean up the end of that fight. So Gap had to peel. They basically sent 2 members to chase the rest of TLD. Hook. That was really nice. They sent
what a grappling hook there from Tom Kick, and forcing again one into the storm. Michael Jordan Pine having to take the jet streams away, but God, Tom Kick on point with any of these skill shots.
Yeah, and look at these now, dude. Armor Shredder, double Fate, 2 Armor Shredders, 2 Fate Rewinders. So they found a replicator and they replicated their Fate Rewinder Armor Shredder.
Yeah, it was Toilet had it. So I was gonna say that, and then we had more action still happening. That they had that onto Toilet, so they used the second part of it. Because I think that's how they got the first gold.
Dude, Spicy is so deep down here, bro. What is happening?
I think they got chased down, and Lunatherius is still up for the team. Yeah, they are having a hard time, so it might just be that Spicy Marinara is going to fall outside.
Dude, so many world kills. He was going for these guys. They're still out here. They get the res, bro. I don't think they're going to make this magical. I think this is a world KO right here.
Yeah. I was kind of waiting it out, and unfortunately, it is going to be the case that the big leagues do fall to the storm.
And Nidhogg finds Luna last one here, bro. This is looking rough for them as well.
Yeah, and I think it's because Asura were fighting with the big leagues out in the storm that ends up punishing both teams. Lunatherius taking the jet streams, but it is height on hot pursuit, trying to get all these dashes, and there's the chains to connect. Vortex Charm does not land, even with the second wind. You're up against a brawl, and the
so
brawl
hard to
is in
outrun.
hot pursuit. Exactly. How do you get away from this? But maybe the help of Go Hogs might help get you out of this one.
Luna
because they heard they was fighting, and now it is daytime. So could save Asura if they can get onto the heart, but I think it's too much damage. And Lunatherius is not actually going to attempt it.
Oh, Lemur's getting
Go
shot
Hogs finding height because they had continued. They had looked for the play, knowing that teams were skirmishing elsewhere.
Yeah, and after all that, Luna looks like they are going to get the town res through, which is really cool to see, unless... Oh, no!
Air blast! Not letting that happen.
The air blast. Just like, thought he was going to go for the shield, but he has the air blast, bro. Catches him on the right edge of the air blast, just instas him. Oh, my goodness.
And I think Paz right now is pretty much causing distraction, so there's going to be the res inside of town. It will be enough, so they're all back on their feet, but do they get into the storm? Looking at the zone and how it is at the moment, I think only a couple of them will be able to get out of it. But we go to Gap in Mage Bog, chasing down the Rift Walkers. They're doing their best to get inside of the circle. Arya has been healed up by Neff, but Gap don't make this easy. Vortex Charm to land onto Oath, but a height goes back with the rest of the team as they find the knock on a Neff, then making sure that Scarb is going to be the next target they look for. Emergency platform might help out pod racing, but a Vortex Charm, no spin dash to save your life this time around. Only one getting away for Rift Walkers.
Yeah, Gap just on the hunt this game, bro. Feeling the violence, riding the momentum of that first game win. And Hogs as well. We've seen both these teams just constantly pushing fights, forcing the action here. Hogs in a really good position, powers and armors wise this game, but it looks like Tom Kick did go down, so lost that Fate Rewinder to someone else here. But looks like BDE in a rough spot. BDE we've seen in these last couple of games, Magical, kind of never able to find a good fight, almost like constantly on the run, getting split between different teams, trying to just live enough to maybe get a good position for a fight. But it seems like every time we come over to them, they're kind of on the run like this, you know?
Yeah, struggling a bit. CNN Dashing away as Nutty are still chasing this and looking for that Bishop. They've got a lot of scatter grenades to spot out any of the movements, but the fact that the last door have moved
Nutty
their way
gonna
up,
run
but
right
look
into
at the
TLD,
levels.
bro.
Pine is only level 4. They don't have that 5-4. There's Zeph and CNN getting chased by Phenom. Will get spiked over the Abyss, but that means the rest of the team is getting chased down by Nutty and they are split apart. It's difficult for them to regroup and utilize those exotics you were talking about before. And I think that's where the Fate Rewinder went to. TLD were able to pick that up.
Oh, yep.
And now finding the pick onto Krillo by Bebo by not having that anymore as Paz does get taken out by the Hogs. Then first eliminated, showing up out of nowhere. Phenom has picked up a crown, might be able to get some damage with a flame shield. Taking down and improving. 50 seconds remaining, but there could be the res. Another flame shield to so many members. The last door are back on their feet yet again, and first eliminated will be 7th ones. They got 7th place in this lobby.
TLD showing again why they are one of the very best teams in SUPERVIVE. Having a monster fight there on multiple fronts. Able to get a squad elim here with the pick. Oh, Rich ships it in.
Yeah, it comes completely out of nowhere, but the last door weren't all on that island. Riftwalkers used so much to try to find a single pick, but they are the ones now getting forced into this fortress as Scar fights against Pads and struggles to do so without the shield and has to blast away with the help of a bomb, but doesn't get enough distance, and Parya only getting a little bit of damage over the walls, then chased away to the Abyss with Lemur hot on their heels, throwing down the hail of arrows, but pushed back. So Parya not going to fall just yet. Paz not making it easy and will eliminate the Rift Walkers.
Yeah, and we saw, I like the idea. They literally shipped it in, and we saw him use the fortress power right here, right as they shipped it, trying to like play off of those walls. And the other thing it does, if you use it on ground, it gives you high ground. And so that's like a cool little subtle mechanic of it where you not only have like the walls for protection, you also now have the high ground to play off of for vision. But we saw TLD just play that so well, bro. And BDE on the run again here, just trying to live it out. TNN going to be the last one against Nidhogg. Going to be a rough situation to get out of. Going to run right into Jackalacken.
Oh no, and then Nidhogg making sure that they get the knock onto BDE. Nidhogg back with the team, but Gap are in a bad spot. There are 3 teams surrounding them and 4 teams remain. They've got to somehow push into the circle while GoHogs have a great angle on every team. They control the respawn. They have the base already in the circle. Nutty have to go through the last door, and they're forced to use the chilling finale early with the Abyssal Breaker. But the talk, that's huge. This Bebo might have been able to make the play, but Krill is going to be the first one down for Nutty, trying to get away from the team, but they're getting chased down by the GoHogs, and Krillo not going to be able to resurface in this fight. Emotions into the storm, pushed back, and with only Oath remaining, Nutty not looking good, not looking like they have long to live as Lemur wears the crown, and Kogi might have to find a heroic spike while they're still chased into the storm and taking so much of this damage. Bro. Lemur should be able to get that kill with the help of the storm, and even the second win will resurrect the last door, but they're now over the Abyss themselves, so just as soon as they were able to get all 4 members back, last door now down another member.
Yeah, and Hogs continuing to ride that momentum, bro. They got Tom back, and he had his Fate Rewinder back. right there.
Funny.
I think right there.
He was missing it for a bit, yeah.
That's too good. And they also got a deployable beacon as well. That's the other thing is the global shop now has permanent unlimited res beacons. So if you have, I think it's 9k gold at any point during the game, like this, bro, you can do a mobile res beacon, dude, and this is just carnage.
Jackalacken finds a kill on the other side, and it's GoHogs dominating the last door. Paz, barely any health remaining, will heal up a little bit, but now is the only one, and Jackalacken wants to make sure the last door do not get back as they are wearing the crown, and 1 remains for the last door, but over the Abyss they get spiked. So now Gap against GoHogs. This is a rematch from game 1 today. Gap have won the last 2 games. GoHogs have been so close in so many of these lobbies, and this time around, they look like they're in the best position they've possibly been tonight.
Yeah, look at look at these items on Hog compared to the items on Gap, bro. They have to They have to. I was about to say the only way they mess this up is they get split and picked, and it happens right there as I'm saying it. So now numbers advantage. Tom, I think, was calling. We don't want to engage. We see him way up to the left here. I think they didn't want that fight. They got a little caught out. Jang's gonna go down. So now Hogs 3 left. They're just getting pressured across the map here.
Toilet is getting chased pretty far here by height. It's a hard thing to get on top of, Zeph is. So noticing that, that's given enough time to Hogs to reset their tempo, nearly finding the pick, but it is going to be close.
Dude.
Kenneth is going to be taken down, and so now Go Hogs in a good spot. They have 3 members against 3 on the other side of Gap.
Dude, Jackalacken having a monster performance here, bro. He just made so many good things happen. Him and Tom playing extremely well together. We saw him take out TLD on the left there. And now bringing it back. Huge grab.
Ooh, huge grab, but they've get taken out by a huge Q from Jewel. With 4 members, they have to somehow turn this around. Jang and Toilet, double second win on each side with Jackalacken kind of on the outskirts, bouncing around, but that's going to be the change. Trying to follow up Jang as he goes over the abyss, but Nidhogg this time around feeling a little bit more confident in the myth versus myth battle and continues to chase because he's got backups, he's got reinforcements, and you're pushed into the storm. Jang alone against the world.
Yeah.
Gap looking to win 3 in a row with only Toilet up.
Yeah, really dominant sort of showing here from Gap. Playing, you know, the advantage, getting the pick, and then kind of playing from disadvantage there. Really nice team fight. Able to turn that one around from the big ult, like you were saying. And going to be a near impossible situation here for Toilet, but he can always make the magical spike happen if he can get the right abyss angle. Nice air blast there. Doing his very best to kite this out.
So many fate rewinders on the other side, and you've got to last for so long in this game. They're looking for the backs. They're trying to make sure that it's going to be the respawn in the base over the abyss. Just one more tick of damage, and Gap win 3 in a row.
Dude, Gap on a roll here, bro. Really showing up. Like, they weren't, I think they had the day off yesterday. They weren't in scrims. It was their day to cycle out, but seeing them today, I haven't seen them play together on this patch yet or since December, and they're looking terrifying, bro.
They are. And I will say, so Twin One was asking where Wadel is. Kind of noticing that we have a lot of our teams with different members. Definitely today has been a day of subs for most our squads.
Yeah,
but
Twin, I think I was just going to say, Magical, I think there's a good chunk of players that did try to find a sub that are participating in the arena tourney right after this.
Yes. And so it's some players that want to kind of like rest up beforehand. That don't want to play too much before getting into the arena, because what is it, 32 teams I think signed up for the arena tournament.
That's that's so cool, dude. That's so cool. I'm so stoked to watch that, man.
Are signed up for it. It is kind of wild. When I heard those numbers too, I'm like, damn, we got a good amount of teams. Like for Battle Hub too, I think we ended up having something like 28 teams register. So NA is really showing up in that we love SUPERVIVE and that we are here already ready to compete.
Yeah, dude, we're here for it. Season 0 is here. The beginning, the true beginning of SUPERVIVE Ranked has arrived. And so now, truly something to fight for. Whereas before, it was just sort of pride or ego or whatever you want to call it, just trying to be the best for the sake of being the best. But now we have real rewards tied to it, permanent rewards, to the extent of custom gliders, bro, with your highest rank on them at the end of season 0. Like some really cool stuff like that, where I'm like, ooh, like I might have to make a little push myself for a glider.
Me too. It's like on my days off, I'm gonna try to make more pushes, especially because at the end of the month, I'm not going to be as available, sadly. I just have family coming into town during that time. So
I just kind of got off the back end of family being here for like the last month, so I feel that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you got to go through it. You got to do it because it is important. But at least we have now, and we have upcoming tournaments. Like I said, there's going to be the one for Arena today. We got Battle Hub starting, I believe, on Monday.
Oh, on the 13th. Yeah, that's going to be hype, bro. They had a bunch of signups for that. I saw you posted to help get some more in, but yeah, how many?
28 teams.
Dude, that's so cool, bro.
Like, we definitely have shown up and shown that SUPERVIVE is something that we are all looking forward to. The community really has been rallying around one another, so it makes me really happy to see. And speaking of happy to see, we are into Game 4, and I believe it is the Soulbound powers that we have for our shift into this one.
Nice.
And unfortunately, Krillo has gone back to the game plan.
Dude, he did have a
Not
monster
Bebo.
Bebo Tonk to pull in the Celestial. It was almost super epic at the end there, but
Almost.
not able to quite pull it off. Dude, something I wanted to mention, because you were not around yesterday. We had Fabled, so we didn't have Gap, but we had Fabled, who isn't here today. And they took 3 out of 6 wins yesterday, bro. And they had they had 2 subs, I think. And so, yeah, like Dunmere and Zakawi, or they had 1 sub. I think just Wicca wasn't there. They had Dunmere, Zakawi, and Afro. They've been like trialing Afro. I think it's looking like he's probably going to be sticking around.
Yeah, Afro, I think, is going to be sticking around. I think Wicca is more going to be a sub now.
Oh,
which
okay.
is a little unfortunate because she's really good. But I think that's at least for now. And then they're going to kind of play with like a 5-man roster where they have...
I see.
They're more willing to sub people in and out depending on who's available as well as what they're feeling for those certain days.
Gotcha.
Obviously, don't hold me to this because that one is more just looking at trends for the team.
Yeah. Well, that could be cool, man. And that could be one of those things where, let's say you have one person like Wicca mains a couple hunters and then the other sub mains a couple different hunters. So now you have a good reason even for team comp to maybe cycle, you know, and that's something that, you know, potentially a little more advanced SUPERVIVE that we might end up seeing like deeper into competitive SUPERVIVE when there's more players, more teams. Like that's more of a normal thing when you think about other types of games like this, right?
Especially when you start getting more hunters. I think that's going to be the big thing.
True.
Like, I'm expecting, at least from what it seems like with Theorycraft, is they're really going to start to ramp up making these hunters. I think they made a promise of a new hunter a month.
Yes.
For the first year, which is going to be big. That's going to almost double our roster after just 1 year of the game.
True.
And, like, I keep saying this to people because people like to say that the game has been out for so long. It's not been out. It's open beta. It hasn't even gotten to its full release.
And so long. It's been like 1 month, 2 months, like so long. It's in such a short amount of time.
Exactly. We haven't even reached 2 months of it being an open beta. There's a lot of room to grow as a game and to kind of test out new things, trial things here and there, like with Resurgence, adding new parts of the map, taking away certain things. We got a long way to go in
100%.
Building up this game.
Yeah, and those of us that have been around for a while, like we know that this is Theorycraft's thing. This is how they operate. They will make big swings. They've been doing this through all the playtesting, like things like Resurgence, things like Global Shop they just added, bro. Like things like this, like, oh, let's just throw a whole other island in here because maybe we want Academy to be more frequently in the final play area. So if we add terrain over
Anywhere but here too.
Yeah.
Anywhere but here is
dude,
a
so
really
good,
cool
bro. Like this is such a cool.
Academy.
And again, like giving more character to the map where all of a sudden there's another reason to drop there, bro. So like, and like we talked about the regional shops giving another reason to drop. Now we have this rogue soul boss that's giving too much XP. That's another place to drop. We got the normal gold armors. Well, it'll be interesting to see how much XP that's actually supposed to give, you know, because I think it's still going to be worth fighting over based on the power. Well, I think we're still going to see a lot of teams fight over it just based on getting that early item from it. You know what I mean? Even without the levels.
Oh, I just realized Improving is actually playing the Bebo.
Oh, let's go.
And has got the 1% slingshot right there
with
the Zeep. Yeah, with the big bomb.
Throws it in the tire.
Throws it at the tire. That's one of the things I think as people learn to play Bebo, as I've been noticing that there is a way of fishing for that 1% chance where you're trying to get that because it is a great tool for some of these fights, especially when you're looking to kind of stare down and be more of a poking style hunter at the beginning stages of a fight. You're hoping that you have that bomb so that you can throw the Zeep and push them back and make it so that then you're disrupting the front line and then allowing your initiators to actually engage.
Yeah, and I think like if you have a fully charged bomb plus a super Zeep, and you do them at the same time, like you charge your bat, whack the bomb while you shoot the Zeep, like if those two things hit someone at the same time, I think they're toast. Like most hunters are just going to be toast right there. And the Super Zeep has like a monster knockback on it too. So like you were saying, if you get hit by that Super Zeep in a fight like early, it could just actually knock you out of the fight positionally, even if it doesn't kill you, you know?
I have actually gotten some crazy knocks with the Super Zeep and the bomb combo without even meaning to. And speaking of without even meaning to right now, we don't even mean to stumble into a fight with so many teams early on. But here we are. Resurgence is still there. It's only effective for a couple more seconds. So teams will have one more chance to all skirmish it out as they all are going to jump back to their teams. But it's Gap and the Last Door who are immediately scrapping it first, with Pine the first casualty on day 2.
Yeah, and we've seen, so Rin was kind of the one that was training Myth on Gap before, and it looks like he's pivoted to Ghost, and we see Nidhogg rocking the Myth, and Nidhogg is a very scary Myth. Like if for those of you that have, well, true, yeah, but Myth being one of his better ones where he's exceptionally scary on it, and has invested a good amount of playtime now on that hunter as well, and has sort of intentionally been training it a little bit. Since it got those buffs, realizing that it was already strong last month, and then it got the buffs. He's one of the very first players to kind of like say, okay, Myth is basically required in our competitive team comp. You know what I mean?
Right, and we already saw one team eliminated while that was happening. Big leagues, unfortunately, struggling a bit. But they are a team that are newer players to competitive, as well as just newer players to SUPERVIVE. So props to a lot of those players for kind of stepping into this and being willing to play in these scrims and test out things to see if they can learn from such talented players that we have across the board for a lot of these NA scrims.
Yeah, and 100%, bro. And what that does is, like, all of a sudden you need a sub, and what do you know? Aiden is around. So now they're getting 6 games in with one of the best players in EU. I guarantee you they are learning a ton from Aiden's comms right now. And so this is the magic, like you were just saying, of getting out here and getting that experience. And you're right, like a brand new, I hadn't seen any of these guys until yesterday. I think I've seen
TNN are new to me. Cowboy Bebo, I want to see what Cowboy Bebo's name was beforehand, because I feel like they probably are a player, because built different.
He was on Bebo yesterday, by the way, bro. He was true to his name all day yesterday.
And today, of course, the day I want them to play more Bebo, they're not playing it, but we are having a fight. Not at the Dawn Caps. Very unusual. They are all the way down
4 golds,
here
bro.
in Scavenger's Bay. Yeah, got all 4 golds for themselves, having looted a different part of the map.
I think they were mad they lost the golds in Dawn Caps last game, dude.
They're salty about that.
They're
one,
like,
so
all right, we're dropping gold, boys. We need this game. We need this for pride.
Hey, looking better in this one as they were able to grab themselves some of those golds. So they'll be perfectly content for themselves, as we are in tonight too.
I really like, and then the kind of like, the more reps we get in, the more games we get in, the more the huge ship in. Whoa, and gets bumped, so a little past there. That was weird.
Yeah, a little bit past, so wasn't able to get the lockdown for Space Marinera, while BDE and Asura have been fighting this whole time. We see that Riftwalker show up out of nowhere to third party the scenario, making it difficult for BDE. They're now separated, but Asura are going to take their spot in the skirmish up against Riftwalker's Rofer, taking a lot of damage. Might have to shift back, so he will be able to survive. The Space Marinera skating barely away from danger, but here comes the storm. It's to their back. Asura are going to struggle as they're getting pushed back consistently into the storm. Gaydad throws down the hail of arrows, separating the fight momentarily.
Actually playing this
even with
really
the shield
well.
broken, it's not enough to actually take down the Oath. While BDE have been waiting patiently. They wanted to get onto a respawn beacon, but unfortunately just don't have the position or the time to do so.
That was looking scary for ASR, dude. They played that well. They kind of regroup, pull it back, like, are able to kind of regroup to the south, fight it off, get the heals, get out of the storm, get that position back, and they're going to be just fine. We come down to Gap, triple air blast with a scale or a fang and a replicator. Look at this replicator in action. 4 air blasts. Sorry. This is one of Nidhogg's favorite powers, bro. He loves replicator.
Okay, I was looking at Nidhogg and Gap because they were on the 2-way teleporter that was put down by GoHogs, and they actually got teleported on top of GoHogs, and they chased away Toilet by himself.
Oh, Toilet's gonna go right
from the team, and guess who's here? It is Fell realizing that when he decides just to fall to his own doom. Go Hogs actually eliminated at 9th place.
That's big because they've been like top 3, top 2 almost all day, having really monster performance. One of the teams that's really been on the aggression here, but these other teams like making it happen this game. We see Fell more in the action than they have been. We see Rift now right in the middle of Nutty and Fell, bro. This is going to be rough if they can't find a way out.
Sent out though, and I'm looking at improving. They're able to get one knock initially. There's the Tonk drive and one all the way over the abyss. Wasn't able to find the knocks. Instead, it's going to be turned around, improving so low, barely dashing away with a swoop movement. But now he's got a double dash away with the glider jets, nearly taken down. There's the rocket to connect. They do find that poor Bevo all alone. Fell separated as a team, and guess who's right behind them? Gap can show up at any moment. Nutty are here to rumble as well with all 4 golds on their squad.
Dude, look at this circle, bro. Like, I feel like this game just started and we're already completely out over the abyss. Still 8 squads left. A couple on their kind of, you know, revival run, but a lot of them still full squads positioning up here, trying to make something happen. But this is getting like so tight so early. We're like 11 minutes in and it's about to be no land left.
No land to really go with, and this is one
awesome.
of those circles you wish that you had the unlimited glider fuel. That was the previous game. This one's soulbound power, so not able to kind of just hang over the abyss for a long time with a crown. Instead, you are now pushed back with very little real estate, as you were talking about, for any of these teams to work with. I gotta like when we have Skyrats run circles.
I like this, yeah.
It always has these kind of wonky circles that force teams to fight a little bit earlier than I think they'd all expect to at these level 7s, level 8s, not fully online and not with enough minions to spread around between teams. So a team like Gap gets pushed back because they see all 8s for the last door.
Yeah, and when you see the whole time the circle's moving down here, it's putting constant pressure on everyone else across the map to move down here. So all those teams are running into each other on the way down themselves. And we see it's just a total cluster, like basically everywhere that we could look in this final circle. And probably the fight to look at here is TLD versus Gap. Just carnage instantly as I pan back over here.
Gap only have height remaining now. They are the team that has won every lobby thus far, and now they are looking to get eliminated early on. Rin was able to get away, but Gap are struggling. Almost were able to find the second win. Height does fall, and now it's all on to a lone ghost and hoping to find a crown snipe onto BDE.
Yeah, it's my bad for missing the beginning of that, but I think we saw maybe some engage where Gap was maybe a little split because we expect them to have a pretty good fight there just purely based on their powers. Really nice there by TNN to finish that off and get the res through. And so they're right back in it. XP Soul trying to scale that up to 10 as quickly as they can here. They're probably going to need 1 or 2 more squad wipes to be 10. And then that's really going to come into play. The weird thing about XP Soul is until you realize level 10, it has 0 value.
Right.
So it's like
doing nothing for you right now.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, it's okay. And I will say the bigger thing is how they've been positioning. They're in a really good spot. Unfortunately, we do see on the kill feed another team getting eliminated, Fell. They were by themselves. They had 1 member left, so it wasn't a big deal. We had a lot of our teams with only like a straggler here and there. So having another person get spotted out, we're looking at how the Skyrats run circle is, and you're seeing still little real estate for teams to work with, and FPS are able to punish one of the teams that hasn't gotten a good foothold just yet in BDE. PNN was able to save the team before, but unfortunately, they didn't have a good position initially afterwards to set up.
Oh, this is maybe what happened to Fell, bro, right here.
I think this is, as BDE are the next team to fall for the bait. Riftwalkers have just been waiting patiently that whole time, just saying, this is our land, this is our circle, and this is our island.
This land is our land.
It isn't your land. So you better get off.
You better get off. Or I'll make you.
Ooh. Wait, hold on. Tonk. Ooh, does barely miss from Pensato. And now getting chased down. Clap was able to find the clap on one side, so taking down that poor Bevo.
Oh, the snipe.
Well, we have a nice snipe on to Shab. There's still another member remaining for FPS. Dolphy can save the team if they're able to find this knock onto Aiden, but realizing there's a lot more members there than you'd expect, especially with a crown being in play. But the chains are on to Kingpin. Not necessarily the one you want to be dashing towards. The Dolphin instead trying to dash over the abyss, maybe taking that unstable portal to get away. The Jellyfish given a bit of a reset and a long way to still go to get to land. While Riftwalkers have to start pushing into the circle because that island no longer is fully in the circle, and they are playing up against the last door who are holding on to Skyrat's run.
Yeah, Rift counters that really well, actually. They hold their land. Well, TLD making another go here.
Trying once again, but this is the thing that was always going to be the problem for Riftwalkers. They were able to bully around teams when it was only 1 or 2 players, but once a full squad starts to fight, that's when they struggle, and the last door forced them off their territory and forced them over to the abyss, while Nutty had already held on to that eastern part of Skyrat's run. Paria not able to land any damage onto these members and getting chased down, meaning Riftwalkers only have the Oath, who's outside in the storm, to survive for the team. And no, pod racing is gone too.
Yep, and BDE still in a rough spot. TNN kind of been the main one alive for them for a while now. Doing some, they're gonna run into Dolphy too, so
it was a good change, a good blast off from TNN, so they were actually able to kind of trade and not have anyone spiked. Got really close for both teams, but still, Dolphy is alive, and she's got a minute left to hold on to the most wanted. But TLD not gonna make that too easy for her. She dashes away a long distance, does escape from TLD's wrath, while TNN hover wings right past them. And I think Dolphy noticed that and wants to be able to find this spike, but gets punted back towards Asura. Base steel chains does get her away. While there's another crown being worn on the other side, Dolphy is waiting for that bishop, but now that Neff's on the other side nearly finds the spike. Chains connect. Dolphy's got to be so careful. Vortex Charm does not land and pushed into the storm. Neff so close. Dolphy slicing and dicing her way, but no, TNN saving BDE yet again.
Oh my god.
As they took down Dolphy and took down another member of the Riftwalkers.
TNN, absolute hero plays this game, bro. If BDE go on to win this, TNN is the hero of the match. Level 10, XP Soul fully realized. Aiden back in action, got their Fang back. Can they make it happen in these final fights now? Like we were talking about, they've been a little scattered, a little behind, but finally back, regrouped at as 4, and hopefully they can find some good position here and have a real, 4v4 look, potentially some third-party action happening as we look. 5 squads left. Rift still just pod racing down here, trying to hang on. Double delicate.
As BDE are pushed towards the teams and making it difficult to escape. They took a lot of damage initially. Pull barely going wide on one side, but Clap does get clapped as Asura have gotten third-party angle. The engage from Phenom separating BDE, while Asura looking for the scraps on the table. TNN has to use the hover wings to try to get away, but they're pushed back into the storm. Barely surviving, but does finally get knocked down. And with only 2 members remaining for BDE, they gotta hope that other teams are gonna start falling soon because they need to find something. Riftwalkers are going to be the first team out of the 5 that are eliminated. Now losing pod racing, while Nutty have been waiting and biding their time this entire time. And that's the pull they've been waiting for from Krillo to dunk.
Spicy what?
Marinara. Wait, what?
Bro, like animation canceled the slam with the Celestial or something. Skates at the abyss floor, makes it out of there. I have no idea, actually, how they did that.
Here, what in the world was that?
Literally canceled a dunk. Canceled it
Yeah.
somehow. I think something with the interaction with the ult did something, but like maybe the ult pillar like canceled the dunk momentum or something like that, right?
Oh, maybe it was like a chilling finale. You canceled that so you don't get fully dunked, and then had the skate right afterwards to get away because it was a little wonky looking. But they are still alive, and Spicy Marinara are going to heal up with the Forge right behind while Phenom was pushing aggressively towards Nutty. They've been waiting this whole time. They've got all golds for the members. They haven't really been a part of any of these major fights, so that's where we need to start seeing what Nutty can do in some of these skirmishes because they only got the one
they
exotic.
find BDE.
They see Cowboy Bebo, and they do take down BDE, eliminated at 4th place, while Asura are getting jumped on, and they're pushing back Nutty. Third-partying the situation. Poor Nutty. This is not looking good for them right now as Krillo tries to get away with the last order off in pursuit and making sure that Nutty are not going to get out easily. Only username Dip is alive, but they are now with the chains and the follow-up from Pine to eliminate Nutty, so only 2 teams remain.
That was carnage, bro, and now TLD in such a good position, like double soul, 2 level 10s. It is a 3v3, so still hope for ASR. There's no numbers advantage. Lemur just grabs crown there, but
Though.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're looking to force this to get him off.
Yeah, so we're forcing Asura to look for this play, as now it's Asura actually forcing away TLD. There is a respawn beacon on one side, and with Data taking so much damage, Paz should be able to get the respawn.
Oh, they're deathboxing
Asura,
here.
Oh, they've been doing so much to push off TLD from getting these full reses, but as you talked about, it will be both squads fully back and ready to rumble.
Yeah, this is spicy, bro. Like, we saw like so much action come down to this, and now these teams are like kind of regrouping, playing it a little patient here. I think TLD probably has advantage a little bit when it comes to total power. If we look at their items, their powers, their armor versus ASR's here, just a little bit better. But it's pretty even fight. The problem is ASR's got 2 fully broken ones. And so they're actually going to get no armor value on those 2. They're going to have to play this very well here. And even positional advantage going over to TLD with this final shift. We're going to have to see how it plays out. Throwing down that fort, though. Oh, but they storm grenade bottom.
Bonfires are being put down to try to give a better angle for Asura as they almost found out Pine, but blast off into the back line with punt back onto Rofer. But not enough damage. Lemur has to try to get away with the jump pad, helping him out. They found the spank onto one. And now with the Spicy Marinara still taking a lot of damage and being the front line for the team, you gotta find an angle sooner or later. They push in with the wall, but they've already lost out on another one. And only remaining is Spicy Marinara, and TLD will claim victory.
Dude, very well played there by ASR, but TLD not gonna let it happen. Just too strong there. It can't give up that win with the victory in their eyes. They've seen too many of those come through. They know it's theirs, and they use that advantage to their benefit, able to close it out there. But a really well played fight from ASR. We saw 2 absolutely monster Celestials from Spicy in those last couple of fights. We saw 1 in the Forge. We saw 1 right there, getting like 3 people with each of them without a setup from a Void or a Bebo car or anything. So really well played by Spicy, and even staying in it with that, you know, sort of dunk animation cancel, whatever we saw there. So like some really cool play by ASR there. Well played, being one of the top 2 teams. And if we look at this team, Magical, like, we recognize these guys. Like, these are all players we know, but it's not, like, my first time seeing these guys play together, really.
Yeah, like Asura has been a team that has, I think, been playing now for about 3 weeks. But they have been kind of swapping in and out some members and really looking to like finalize their roster. I think it is Lunatherius, Rofer, and Spicy Marinara as like the core, and then they're kind of like finishing out 1 more member on the team. Gaydad's subbing in for today. But I'm trying to remember who their normal player is in that spot. I can't remember who the normal 4th player is. Oh, RTK, that's what it is. RTK, that's the other player who's normally in that part. Thank you, Super Knack.
Yeah, I've been a little bit, I've had family in town, and I was sick myself, and then everyone in my family got sick, and so I've been a little disconnected for a couple weeks here over the break, but I have been watching. I've been like tuning into streams. I'm just addicted to watching SUPERVIVE, but I haven't gotten to play much, and I haven't gotten to like watch many of the scrims or cast or anything. So yeah, it's good to kind of get some of that intel from you, catching me up a little bit. But I think, like, you know, these are good players on Asura. That could be a scary team in the end once they kind of get it dialed and get some time playing together, you know.
With RTK on the team, RTK is like pretty much legendary for having these insane outplays and jukes, kind of like how Jang had the other day.
Is RTK Bishop?
No, I believe Brawl.
Brawl, okay.
No, Jin. Sorry, I'm Jin.
Jin. Okay.
RTK is the Jin player.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that I had to think for a second, and then Supernax says it right afterwards. Yeah, so they've had some wild jukes with the Jin clones, and then finding some insane crown plays. I will say, like, they're an exciting team to watch as they have been, like, becoming one of these newer teams that we're really looking at. I think that's the cool thing with SUPERVIVE, because it is a newer game. We're watching the growth of so many of these grassroots teams that are kind of like putting themselves together and be like, all right, we all enjoy playing together. Let's start really building up this team. Like, Fable's a good example of a team that when we first started watching them, they were all right. They were okay. But now they're one of our top teams that we keep talking about, and how they're going to play together, and whether or not they're going to be taking multiple dubs, not just like eking out a win here or there. That's like you're expecting them to get multiple wins.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see like what happens when Fabled actually has a set roster for a bit of time, because they've literally been, you know, 2 and then 3 and then a different 3 and then.
It could also be that, you know, the scrims right now, it is kind of like loosey-goosey with like people in a similar spot to you, where it's the holidays.
Yeah, totally.
A couple players like with GoHogs, Stevenator stepping down for a little bit because of real life issues. So there's a lot of things going on right now. It is January, it's the start of a new year. So we could see as like more teams either have their players come back into the scene, or whether or not we start seeing players stepping out fully.
Or I think even for those players that are stepping out, you know, temporarily, like if they get, you know, if that team ends up finding a sub or whatever, you can almost view that as a new opportunity to find another team, new players to play with. And we see, like you were just talking about, like so many new players coming in, so many new teams forming that, that, you know, that could end up being a positive in the end, because now you get a whole new experience with a whole new group of friends, a whole new group of players. And literally the more you do that, the more players you play with, the more teams you're a part of, the better you get at being a team player, at, you know, operating around comms from newer players and stuff. So I think, you know, when Stevenator does come back, I'm sure there will be a spot for him on Hogs, but if he decides to go a different way, you know, that's, you know, could be looked at as actually an opportunity for growth there. And Stevenator, one of these guys that looks for those opportunities intentionally, you know, very intelligent player and very kind of passionate and like strategic with the way he approaches stuff. And so, you know, I expect to definitely see him back in the mix here before not too long. We see a double drop at Coldfang, about to have some early violence here over the gold.
So it is going to be Twisters this time around. And while you're looking at Coldfangs, I'm looking at Doncast. All 4 gold are in Doncast, and we know
Nutty's up there.
They love dropping up at Doncast, but they are going to have a decent amount of company. BDE will be dropping with them as well, and I think it is going to be also Asura looking to contest the gold.
Okay, so TLD get a pick here. It's like they're not going to fully commit. And yeah, Nutty landing up here, looking to kind of have that positional advantage over the ball. BDE getting 2 out of this camp. We might see a level 2 fight, but no, Nutty's going to go get a few more levels. BDE's heading there as well. So we see Hogs in a bit of action themselves. They're fighting TLD over here. Looked at okay, so they got the res. So TLD back at 4 with the resurgence.
About who gets this hatchling,
oh, yep,
though.
true.
Who's going to get the Bissell? I think Tomkick was looking for the pull away onto it. So
snipes it with the surge.
Wow, stolen away by Jack-a-Lack, and even if he falls, massive play for the GoHawk to deny that level 5 over to TLD, who now are going to struggle, even if they look like they have the play, because they see that Jang's only level 1. There's 3 level 5s on the other side. They're continuing this pressure over the Chaos F's lava, and they're actually getting some decent plays and finding some decent picks onto GoHogs. The Lemur does take a lot of damage. While Jack-a-Lack was able to get a spike onto Phenom. Nearly was able to reset for the flame shield, burning, doing a lot of damage to Jack-a-Lack, and he's only got so much time left as he's falling down.
Phenom just knows exactly what's coming, bro. Sidesteps the surge, then Jewel is right in range of the Fox with no way to get out, no shift reset, stuck there with no dash, and Phenom just roasts him. So, you know, really well played by Jack-a-Lack to get the snipe on that creep, but at the same time, really well played by TLD there to realize, hey guys, even though we're level 2 and 3, we can beat a couple level 5s if they're split. You know, it was such a split fight there. And so, you know, TLD in comms playing that very well, kind of making the best of what potentially a rough situation and actually coming out on top in the end there.
That's kind of what you expect from a team that's got a lot of experience like the last.
Oh, the Huddy, bro! Going big!
They understand a lot of these. I like this right here. That Fel were able to find a pretty good spike there, and we do have improving back on Hudson. You're talking about before that improving has been playing more of the Hudson in some of these games. So here we go, busting that out with first eliminated.
Yeah, love to see it, man. We need more Huddies and more Bebos out here.
Pensato at least doing a lot of the work for us with with Bebo.
True. What's Pensato up to here? Let's check him out.
Yeah.
Doing some Bebo stuff, just being a cute little guy down here.
I love Bebo. I think Bebo is such a fun design.
Oh, I missed TBL having a monster fight against Hogs. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
TBL. I missed that. I was looking at Bebo. I feel like an idiot.
We were busy looking at Bebo. Very important thing. I hope you understand. But hey, you know what? TLD getting a good punish there on to Go Hogs, who get eliminated very early on.
Yeah, really
Keep in mind
like.
that Go Hogs got the flip. They were able to get that level 5 against TLD, but they were in such shambles afterwards that they didn't really have a great foothold on the map.
Yeah, I really would have loved to see like how TBL did that, like what that fight looked like. Because you're right, they were a little bit on the back foot, but at the same time they had level advantage. And so, you know, I'm curious to see what ended up happening there. But in the end, TBL does get the squad wipe, and that's huge because Go Hogs, one of the scariest teams today out here, bro. Constantly finishing top 3, top 2, final circle. And have they got a dub? Yeah, they've got at least one, right? I'm so
No, they
bad.
have not.
Oh, they have not. They've been so close, bro. They've been having really good fights, really good final circles. Couple second places then, because I know they've been in the final.
They've got a couple second places. The last 2 games now, they've gotten eliminated early. So game 4 and 5, they've now gotten eliminated fairly early on. The games 1 and through 3, they were doing a lot of work. And we're talking about work here, fighting over the boss. BDE almost were able to wrestle that away from Rift Walkers, but
Level
they
5
got
though.
great control of the choke point as you have to separate, but Neff taken down. Paria, the only one that remains, using the twisters to get that elevation over the walls. Might be able to get to the jet streams, but Aiden on the other side was looking for Paria. Nearly finds the grappling hook, but barely went wide, but still hunting down this lone myth. Throwing out some hammers and pushing him over the abyss, but Paria doing a lot to try to get away. Nice phase walk, but are you
2
gonna snap
seconds?
back?
No!
Yeah, snap back, and Rift Walkers are eliminated.
Aiden waiting for it there, bro. Yeah, so it was looking like potentially a good fight for Rift. They maybe over push a little bit there right when BDE locks in that kill, because that's what gives them 5. They snipe that kill on the creep. Huge ults come through that choke, like you were saying, and just kind of eliminate Rift instantly. Rift just trying to recover from their Paria, not able to get away, unfortunately. So 2 of our, you know, most like fighting squads, most aggressive squads out early here at 10th and 9th. And so it's going to be an interesting look here.
It happens when you're so willing to fight early on that
True.
sometimes
That is the
you
price.
get punished like that.
Very true, man. That is the price of violence sometimes, and sometimes it's really sick, and sometimes you're watching.
Sometimes you're in spectator mode, and you're like, all right, what went wrong in that game? How do we fix it going forward? And what can you do to better improve? And look at this. We have so many teams meeting up here at Underrot. I mean, that was, what, 5 teams that we see that are all already coalescing and looking for a possible fight. Kinsada threw out the B bomb, but it's Asura that get jumped on by Nutty on the other side and already losing out on 1 member. While TLD on the kill feed are fighting against TBL, and TBL are struggling. They might have eliminated one of our top teams, but doing so twice in 1 game is going to be a struggle. It's only Pico alive, getting the spike there. It doesn't matter if you're on your Felix. They're going to hunt you down. They're going to look for the squad wipe and eliminate another team.
This is disgusting, bro. Look at this setup on Lemur. Double hover wings RJ with a Vamp glider gas evolution. What, bro? That is so OP. He has the boots. Look at the boot speed effect on a Vamp axe. What? That is insane.
You're pretty much not going to, like, Lemur is always going to be that insurance policy. Unless you eliminate Lemur first, he is always going to be able to get the team back up. He'll find these crowns. We've seen it before in the past with Prismaticism. We're going to see it again today with Lemur. And it is going to be difficult, especially as we look towards where the circle is. There are a lot of these gigantic walls that you can play around, as we are kind of around Prisma Falls and Underrot.
Yeah, like you were saying, like one of the hardest hunters to catch anyways on the Bishop, but with Lemur piloting it with double wings with glider gas on boots, like that's just gonna be so hard to catch. And Theo's getting pushed off of that res there.
Tried so hard, but too many teams.
Pensato snowball spike, bro, let's go!
Nice snowball spike tech there from our Bebo. FPS finding that sneak away, and there is that Super Zeep that tries to get a little bit of damage on it to Gap, even using the B-bomb. But not going to be connecting onto Gap. They're already falling back. They're not playing anywhere around that abyss.
Yeah, I love seeing almost no one like ends up grabbing a lot of these snow powers, but Pensato making a good case for the snowball launcher there, able to just kind of spray almost like you're a ghost, right? Yo, Tonk's out, huge. That gets so far, bro.
That was really well done by Pensato.
Yeah, puts them like right in the car on the cast, right? Like positions it so they're instantly in the cart.
Instantly in the cart, and if it even connected as well onto height, it would have separated them from the rest of the team and made it so they could have gotten an easy pick. Honestly, well done all around by our Bebo player.
Yeah. Love to see it. Pensato repping for us well. We got ASR going to come all the way back here, going to pad back into the storm. Going to be just fine. They got a lot of space here, so they're going to be able to recover as we come up to BDE, who's like kind of scaling a bit. They had a much better look last game. Again, at the end of that game, we were talking about them kind of always being caught. Right when they got those monster res from TNN, they got caught again, bro, in the middle of 2. So finally, yes, a little 4v4 action here.
All gold. It is really difficult. They've got a lot of broken armor on their side, and they're completely split apart, but they almost were able to find the pick on a username Div, and Cowboy Bebo does kite back away, so the rest of the team is starting to regroup and look for the push back on a Nutty, but now that username Diff has completely full healed, Bungee shots are sent out on
huge TNN. Wow.
A huge flank though, and you got to be careful of that brawl into the back line, and TNN still shipping out a little bit of that damage onto username Dip. It is going to be the first one on a clap, and then look for TNN. No Bishop plays today for BDE. Instead, it's going to be Aiden having to go into the storm to survive.
Yeah, that's rough. Username Diff played that really well. He rewound. He knew where he was 5 seconds ago. He rewound back right in the middle of all of them with full health and just went off on the brawl. Damage soul on the brawl. Like, if he gets on top of you, man, it's just so hard to deal with. And we see it right there, having to kind of couple sequence of kills. They're down to 1, having to kite out. But TLD forcing the issue on FPS right here.
They're looking for Pensato, this lone Bebo now, who uses that jump away and almost was able to, actually does juke away from Phenom, but unfortunately on to the Flight of the Firefox burn. The dust fall right there, but they're not fully out. FPS still have 2 members remaining and a lot of area to work with if they want to try to look for any of these reses. There's a crown to their north, and there are a couple of respawn beacons still remaining.
Yeah, huge fight down here between Gap and ASR. ASR on the back foot, it looks like. We saw them on the back foot earlier a little bit, trying to recover. They frog jump out of the forge. They're going to run right into the other 2 players of Gap, though. Gap with a really nice split here.
A nice spike onto Space Marinara, too. So it's just Gaydad who is alive for Asura. They use a good pocket geyser to kind of get away from immediate danger, but unfortunately, there's just too much that Gap can do to close off any of those escapes that were available to Asura. So now it is just Gaydad in this brush right outside of vision of Gap.
Yeah, that's a scary spot to be, bro. Like, he's just right in the middle of everyone on the bush play. Hopefully gonna have enough of space open up to maybe go for this beacon right next to him, but it's looking real scary to push right now with where these teams are at. And right as I say that, high season.
Oh, they spotted him out. Gaydad, I don't think you're getting out of this one. Hover wings,
nice wings.
Maybe. Actually, not enough health on your side, though. Going for the reset. I was hoping to recall in time, but unfortunately, just not enough time remained.
Yeah, and height is like a literal rank point farmer, dude. This man was rank 1 by a long shot before the reset, already back to rank 1 this reset, knows exactly how to run people down on that brawl, and showing it right there. Not really gonna let anyone get away if he can have anything to say about it. And I was gonna mention earlier, Magical, when we were talking about the brawl buffs and nerfs, something really big that came into play as well. Pensato,
no! Arbibo again. So down as Chom does have an ice to a teleporter.
Nice.
Does escape some danger there. Has 50 seconds remaining on this oath. But
they're coming for him, bro.
Oh, no. I don't know. This isn't... Okay, maybe it's not looking so good.
Yeah.
It is a crown only
He's gonna
for
hit
1
that ward,
member,
maybe?
though. So it is only for 1 that is going to be the port away. But can you escape from so many members surrounding you? The answer is clearly no. But you at least have the backup plan. Madly and Water Blaze are still alive.
Yeah, FPS like doing well to play placement here, kind of gaining placement after placement, just living as all the other teams are going out. Already 5 out. Gap, big push. Height with the
Oh!
monster grapple dunk there, dude. Huge.
I like that dunk, and they're already putting BDE in a bad spot, and they're taking out Cowboy Bebo, who means that the rest of BDE have to go onto the respawn beacon to try to survive. And the Gap aren't actually chasing this one down because they know TLD are right behind them. They don't want to get pincered just
I feel
in
like
case.
BDE is going to go
FPS
right into these guys after this, bro.
Yeah, but there's no crown. That's going to be the big thing for FPS. They have to somehow get a full team wipe here if they want
Maybe
to then
Aiden
be able to
knows.
jump onto
Looks
the
like
respawn
Aiden knows,
beacon
doesn't it?
themselves. They're kind of suspicious. They see a brush and they're like, something's up. They clear that immediately. Like, yeah, we don't trust
That is a suspicious brush. Aiden knows where the brushes are at, bro. He's been playing long enough. He's a brush expert. Yo!
Almost was able to get the pull in that two-way teleporter of TLD. The TLD now separated. Even though they were separated, there was still the pick onto Emotions. Could be resurrected while Height shows up out of nowhere to take down Paz. Phenom doing a lot into the back line of Nutty, but they have been separated. TLD now find themselves in a bad spot as username Dip tries to re-engage onto Phenom. Phenom will port away back towards his Bishop.
Yeah, Phenom, really nice play there. Has a really nice backline entry with the Flight of Firebox, like you were saying, and then able to just be so disruptive, take up 3 players' time in the backline, able
There's
to...
3 respawn beacons all put down right here. That is hilarious. There's so many respawn beacons that have just been placed down.
This is the power of it being always available in the shop, you know?
Yep.
Dude, huge
Exactly.
wings by
keep
Paz
putting
there.
it down as much as they want, and now if they lose a member, they can easily reset. But I'm more curious to see how many teams are going to try to pressure onto them and try to take control away from TLD. BDE are the first team that are trying their hands at it, but they took a lot of damage on TNN on one side. They don't feel too confident. Phenom does find a great flame shield with the Bissell Breaker on a clap, and then the pull back in of Cowboy Bebo so they can take down one. Blast off from TNN does not separate the fight enough. Instead, having to take the grind rails away to try to save the day, but TNN re-engaging, pushed back by Lemur.
Yeah, this is looking rough now.
BDE still struggling. Grappling hook did connect from Aiden, but with only
still
3
pushing.
members against the 4, they're trying their best to push up because they know the respawn beacons are right there in front of them. They need to get on top of those to resurrect their team and resurrect their fight, but Clap gets taken out, and TLD now put pressure back onto BDE to force them into the circle and back towards Gap.
Yeah, Aiden almost ran right into Nidhogg waiting on the sledge here. They port their fire over. Aiden's going to push it anyways. Thinks he can, you know, force this issue, get him off of this island. Throws the ult out, but is not going to have enough damage. They're really doing their best in the 2v4 here. TLD pushing in from the south, though.
By Nidhogg, and they have a great angle because there's so much attention that was put onto BDE by Gap. It allowed TLD to push in themselves.
Go,
But
TNN.
TNN tried to blast off, but there's so many teams still remaining that TNN does get spiked over the Abyss because we're working on so many of these shattered islands that there's very little real estate for any team to work with.
Yeah, another big Abyss final circle. Some of my favorite because it really lets you kind of see the importance of positioning in SUPERVIVE, and also kind of the interesting RNG element that comes from the final circle shift, like where it shifts having such a big kind of influence on how these final fights play out, who's forced to push into who, right, and how that goes. But Nutty looking scary just on the armor here, bro. Armor, Fate Rewinder on username just hanging out in that tornado.
Brillo find a huge pick, but not getting the dunk on a Pensado. It is a 2-way tunnel by FPS that puts them now on the shop, and like you said, it is a scary looking Nutty, but we've seen this before from them. They haven't been able to capitalize on this power before. So in this game with so little real estate, you have to see how they're going to look to punish some of these teams, especially a team like TLD, like Gap, who have great position so far.
Yeah, and Aiden grabs the crown, going to try to hold his island alone over here, and none of these teams want to risk pushing him because they don't want to be caught at disadvantage, but we see them kind of poking, chipping away at each other. Looks like FPS is maybe going to try to push on Nutty here.
Yeah, and they lost out on one member getting spiked away. Krilla was able to find a great pull and looking for another one, but these bombs are getting launched at them over and over again, trying to get FPS in a better spot. But as we were talking about, this real estate just not working towards them. And with some storm grenades now put down by Nutty, it's going to force them towards Gap.
Anywhere but here.
Oh, anywhere but here does get a decent position for Aiden, but not good enough, and gets put right between two squads.
That's actually a rough spot to go on that, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and the fate's been
Dog, oh, Bonsato tries to get onto that little bit of land. Might be able to do so, grapple, but slammed right through with a hammer. While Madly's taken out, FPS will fall. Almost saw a crazy play from Bonsato with that tonk, but unfortunately, it means that 3 teams remain. Gap, TLD, and Nutty on the other side. Gap looking to start this off initially on TLD,
nice.
but it's Height that gets taken down first. Nutty are still in play, and they're looking for this angle with TLD in a bad spot, pinched from 2 sides. They throw out a storm grenade and an emergency platform to give them better position while they try to reset and not be the team that's getting 3rd squad.
Yeah, and even though FPS goes out there, Magical, it's been really fun watching them.
Yes, it has.
They're just some. We saw Pensato just ship it through the middle of 8 teams there with the tonk, just YOLO Bebo play. But I think Bebo has a good case for final circles like this because of the range of that bomb and the damage it does in the bat. You know, the way you can bop it around and stuff. I think Bebo might end up. Oh, Krillo, huge!
Out of nowhere finds the dunk onto Kenneth, almost with slug wave, but does get spiked. But TLD capitalize on the plays of Nutty to eliminate Gap, and now only 2 teams remain. We have these awkward respawn beacons at play for the teams. Try to deny it, but you can't go up against Kingpin like that. Lemur gets punished for it. As TLD, they were the ones putting down all these respawn beacons, but Nutty not gonna let them respawn too easily. They're pushing around on top of them, but they gotta be careful. They aren't losing on combo winners, but they still pick up victory regardless.
Oh, yeah, bro. Love to see it. Nutty coming out with the W SUPERVIVE. At the end of that, almost off the back of Krillo, bro. Krillo, like, almost squad wiped Gap there because he gets the pick. It lets TLD come in over the top on Gap. Squad wipe them as Krillo is able to peel back to his team. They get it back, and they get that incredible pick on Lemur, bro. We were talking about it. Lemur never gets caught with those items. The double wings, the crazy evolve on the Vampax with the glider gas boots on it, and ends up just pushing a little too far there, maybe a little too overconfident, gets spiked off of that grind whale or dunked off of that grind rail. That's what gives Nutty the kind of momentum and advantage to push the 3v4. We saw TLD just standing on all their beacons there, but it's not enough if Nutty gets on top of you. So very well played there by Nutty to close that one out. And dude, something they're really good at, bro, that we've been seeing all day, and I even saw like yesterday, is like you were saying, they're not necessarily the ones forcing the violence or being a huge part of all the fights, but they're very good at their strategic BR play, their positioning, knowing which fights to take and when. They're very good at playing on the edge of the circle, and like a lot of that's, you know, probably part of their Dawn Cap strategy is we're landing at the farthest north spot on the map. This is going to force us to play edge of circle all the way in. And I've noticed they're really good at being patient, playing edge of circle well, and it finally comes through for them right there, able to take out potentially the top team in North America in TLD there and come out with the win. So very well played by Nutty. Super cool to see.
All right, as we wait for this game to load, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to grab some water before it fully loads up. So be right back.
I'm going to do the same exact thing. One sec. I'm here. We're in it. All right, headphones back in. Are you back, Magical? All right, just me for now. We got north to south drop path here. A bit of violence happening over this jelly cube. Oh! Big damage by Rift there. They are going to be able to lock this in. This is like a really good creep to get, because if you kill it, it has big XP, and then it's going to instantly spawn, or they already killed it, but this camp, because it's the only camp in this biome, instantly spawns the biome boss, so a really good drop spot if you're looking for quick levels. So Rift capitalizing on that right here. Coming down to Hogs, who find a pick, looks like maybe against TLD here, who is ended up split, so they do get Schreikel. Someone's gonna run. Welcome back.
Ooh, and it's unstable portals. Yes.
Oh, nice. I didn't even notice. Hell yeah.
I'm excited about that. This one is going to be really interesting to see how it will work out. I don't believe they spawn on the first day and night. I think it's the second day that they start spawning.
Gotcha. So we saw a little bit of action early right off the drop, but everyone kind of peeling out there. TLD did get was kind of on the losing end of their exchange. We saw Lemur kiting south a little bit there. Our victors from last game, Nutty, up here on their normal Dawn Cap start. Gonna ride that edge of the circle like we were just talking about. But they do have company up here this game with Gap over here. Rin a bit split, but the rest of them farming pretty close by in Shards of Fate.
Yeah, but still looking at how a lot of these are. The only one I'm looking at is down south here. I'm glad you pointed this out, because we have 3 members of Fel. We have one more that should be joining in as they are recalling, but Pensado getting spiked does not get to take the swoop away. Bomb only doing a little bit of damage to improving, so Fel chasing off FPS from Cold Fang's Keep and making it difficult for them to get out of this one. It is still day 1, so Resurgence is active. So you got to make sure you're surviving. Waterblaze taking a lot of damage, jumping over with the jellyfish to get that distance away, while Fel making sure that FPS taking a lot of damage on the way out.
Yeah, they want to try to push them all the way out here so they have time to loot all this gold and kind of capitalize on the Cold Fang drop. But it looks like FPS might look to re-push here. Here's our first portal coming in.
Oh, it is. Okay, I thought it wasn't until day 2 that they spawn in.
Looks like, I think I can see. Oh, look, it shows me if I mouse them, bro. That's awesome.
Oh, very cool.
Oh, these guys are on it, so I can't hover
the
this
green one. Yeah. Look up northeast.
North.
Towards where Nutty is. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good call, bro. Nice eye. That is a giant cross. You're right. That is legitimately across the circle.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's cool.
They're wild. They get some wild plays.
Can these guys see that? Like, can they open the map and see that one way over there?
They can see where it goes, but they obviously can't see who's
there. Right.
So.
But they can see that it's over to the right of Vaingrove.
If they tabbed, they would be able to see.
Gotcha. I didn't know if that was like a spectator thing or if that was like a fog of war hidden from the player.
They should be able to see where that goes.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like how with Academy, you're able to see where the other teleporter goes, even if you don't have vision on the other side.
Right. So BDE getting in the Kaiju vault here. They're going to get pressured by Hog. Hog looking to take some of that power from themselves. Tom Kick. What? I don't know how he got in there, actually, bro.
It was
oh, okay. I was so confused. Thank you.
Jang that got him in there.
Thank you.
And now that it's night 1, BDE, they have this last chance to fight and still get back on their feet, but TLD are right behind them. BDE, this is not looking good. Huge flame shield lands, but Phenom took a lot of damage, and BDE have scattered. Clap is going to be the target that TLD take down first, while Hogs are still putting pressure onto TLD, knowing that they are weak, and they were able to get a nice spike onto Paz, but you got to make sure that it lasts. Tom Kick took a little bit too much damage, and BDE might have been able to regroup to look for an angle onto Hogs, but they got 15 seconds left until they are fully up as well. They're only getting a little bit of damage and seeing level 6 on Jang. I don't know if you really want to continue that battle, BDE, even if you think you got some pressure on them. They have the 6s, they got the 5s.
Oh, they don't want it.
They have ultimates. It's going to be very difficult for BDE to win.
Yeah, it looks like Hogs doesn't want it, though. They're going for the recalls here. Aiden, like, knew something. Maybe we all didn't, because he was constantly pressuring. Maybe knew they wanted to back or something. I was going to say the confidence of BDE is definitely scaling, because they're taking on 2 of our top squads there. Again, kind of being caught in the middle a little bit, but able to play well, peel out to the left. And then they come over and just keep threatening the top of Hogs until they literally back. So I'm not
I
sure
wonder if it has to
exactly.
do with TLD being there, that
Potentially.
Hogs didn't really want to have to deal with the third-party scenario, especially
Definitely
because
could be
night
it.
1 was about to end. Could have just been the call like, hey, don't risk it. It's not worth it. Resurgence isn't going to outlast us long enough. Plus, we
Oh
have
yeah,
really
yeah,
good
because
armor.
Aiden's basically over the top trying to sandwich them into TLD, who may still be south.
Yeah.
I see. That makes sense.
Exactly. So I'm thinking that that's the call there. That's like Tom Kick has got really good macro sense on those kind of plays.
100%.
We're talking about before with his leadership that he brings to a lot of teams. As ooh, looking at that one, the little bomb minion actually working against Asura because it knocked Lunatherius into Nutty. So they'll be able to confirm a first kill here on day 2.
Dude, as a new SUPERVIVE player, those little bomb guys are so toxic.
Oh, I know. If you're
Like-
not, if you don't know what to expect with them, you can get caught out so easily.
Yeah, I remember early on just like being so annoyed with those guys. Sometimes, like in a situation like that, especially, you're like, bro, come on.
Right. It's so annoying. And then you get punted right into your enemy too. You're like, okay, this is just not cool.
Okay, dude, Hogs like are you know, potentially some of the leadership from Tom Kick we've been talking about, but every game they're scaling very early. Like, look at this, 3 golds, mega cluster nuke, pretty good item evolves already. So looking to find the victory on this shrapnel, but huge.
Nice dunk on the height, but gotta be careful because Jack Lacken is deep and he has to use the ult to get away. Dang was only able to get so much damage on a gap until Nidhogg was able to find the backline action and almost was able to take down Jang. He is low, but they put it right back on a gap height, resetting the battle. But unfortunate, the Meteor Beast working against the Hogs. So Gap take full pressure back
TBL.
and find Toilet with Jack-a-Lacken on the other side, and TBL, they might have been able to find almost Jack-a-Lacken, but Jack-a-Lacken will survive. There's the respawn beacon they can utilize, but they lose out in the Shrapnel Soul as a Meteor Beast takes a nice knock on a height.
Yeah, Meteor Beast going off here, getting a couple kills through this. TBL trying to play that high ground. They're going to come over the top before Gap has a chance to finish this. Gap, like everything on cooldown potentially.
The Napalm does a lot to split up the fight and get a burst of damage onto Vincent.
Wow.
While again, another spike. This Meteor Beast
Going
is
off,
actually
baby.
MVP in this fight, finding all these knocks, and TBL only have a ghost on the other side while Hogs were able to reset. But it looks like the soul has been claimed by Gap. Not going to have Tom Kick landing that hook. Instead, they have to be careful because they're playing with this lava, and Gap have already got the jump pad to get over this big wall.
Yeah, and let's see if I can find where this one goes. I think it's this one maybe? Yeah.
Yes.
So they can go
There we go.
all the way down to Prisma. Oh, just kidding. It just expired. They could have gone all the way down to Prisma. TBL had a good position to look there. It ended up not working out for them as they came over the top on the Gap. Gap going to be, you know, if there was an opportunity to do it, it was then. So it was, I think it was a good look, but just not maybe able to pull it off mechanically, as Gap having, you know, really skilled players, maybe just a little bit of outplay there. But I think a good look there from TBL. Like, that's the opportunity you need to look for against teams like Gap. Is they just maybe even a little sooner though, because they just finished their fight. If they can go in while everything's on cooldown still, like, that's going to be your best shot to make it happen. And the Meteor Beast, you know, doing a lot of work there for Gap as well.
For Gap, for TBL, for even Hogs, it was kind of wild seeing how many knocks that the Meteor Beast was able to get. And speaking of knocks right here,
Mega train
First
battle.
Eliminated had a pretty big fight against DLD on the train, as you were talking about, but they might have to take these unstable portals
Oh my
away,
God,
and
what's
they're
happening up here,
controlled.
bro? What
Yeah,
is this?
looking at how this is all going down, unfortunately for Pensado Arbivo, got put in a bad spot and was not able to escape because there's just too many teams surrounding him. Asura taking a big poke of damage. A huge vortex charge landing from Kenneth as Asura are pushed away from 2 members. More kills confirmed. Tom Kick, though, gets a
2 for
nice
1.
double pull, but the push back to deny the snipe from the slam. Go Hogs are still looking for that pressure on the Gap, while Asura might be able to have Lunatherius be a heroic play, but he's sneaky getting
Oh, I
away.
was like,
There
he's
it
in a
is.
bush. I was
Bryn
like-
spotting it out, saying, hey, wait a minute. There's something going on right behind us. They find him, they find Spicy Marinara, but they both take the jet stream away.
Yeah, that was a crazy sequence. We like come up to like 5 teams duking it out here. I feel like the violence scales the deeper we get into the scrims, you know? Everyone gets more and more intense, maybe pissed, maybe excited, whatever the emotion, but it ends up causing more mayhem, more chaos, more violence, and I am here for it, bro. That was
Me too.
and like Gap, dude, Gap's like kind of on the roll, riding momentum of, dude, like
Man,
that.
Kenneth is on point with these Vortex Charms right now. Another double Vortex Charm to land. And Nutty are already having to split up, but I don't think Gap fully realized that. They didn't realize that Krillo had to go heal back up. So this is giving Nutty enough time to regroup and get the back line on point, while Kogi was hoping to find their own engage, but Height taking a little bit more damage than expected. Had to back up, but what a pull landing! So they can take out Nidhogg.
Kogi, let's go.
Height trying to save the fight though, trying to make sure that it's still gonna work out. Well, they might be able to get the revive on Nidhogg. Grin's gonna be the target, but even with username dip on top of Height, Height's still alive.
No
Grin
way.
surviving too, nearly finding the snipe for the team. While Nidhogg's throwing out these arrows, but the heals are there. Nutty and Gap still ready to rumble as everyone's healing up and username dip almost finding Nidhogg, but he's been rooted in place. And they got the heal to keep him alive.
Dude, what a crazy back and forth here between these two teams. So much, and it ends with FPS coming over the top and getting that pick onto Rin, but such an even fight there, looking so good in both directions multiple different times.
Rin should be back up. Yeah,
Kenneth's so good at that whoosh away, bro. That's the second whoosh, like Zep Gust on the Wisp for the save there. And like you said, huge Vortex Charm as well. So Kenneth kind of going off here.
Right, showing how good a Zeph player can be, like saying, hey, supports can carry too, and really showing just how good you can be with that character.
Gaydad in a rough spot here, bro.
Yeah, there's so many fights that are happening, as you were talking about. Everyone's more willing to scrap in these scrims.
With the teleporters, it just looks like such chaos. It's like, what's happening?
I know. There's even more. Keep in mind, there's even more of these teleporters that keep spawning, so we're going to see some madness soon as Lunatherius gets the push back onto BDE, trying to escape some danger here. But luckily for Asura, there are still two other members alive.
Yeah, didn't see them on the left there, so it does get caught in the spike. Thought it was going to be safe to potentially glide there. And yeah, two left, but Asura looking like they're maybe in a bit of a rough spot. They might be able to, you know, make the res happen, but they're going to have to be patient for it. They don't have many options right now. It looks like Hogs knows Gaydad is here. Barbed wire, dead giveaway potentially. Ooh, he has a little gap there.
It's also the fact that you have
let's go! Huge by Gaydad!
Whoa! Nicely done, but took a lot of damage from the hail of arrows.
He has the teleporter,
because of
though.
the supply drop that actually gave away the position, but Jang might be able to help punish this one while Gaydad has been healing up, putting down more barbed wire.
There's Icarus right here.
To collect this and try to get this gold for the team, but Gap throw out the napalm, denying this lone member of Asura from grabbing the gold, forced to try to get away from the battle while Jang has been chipping away, putting down more hail of arrows as this Hudson was not able to get over that wall in time. So Jang forcing the issue. Wait, he took the portal. That's where he goes. I was wondering where he was, but it's right over to Nutty. So unfortunately for Gaydad, he is taken down. It's all on a spicy marinara while we see another fight between Fell and BDE brewing. And Brewing should be resurrected and making sure that Fell are not done, but BDE are finding a great angle. Vortex Charm landing onto one member, but nobody has been grouped up just yet. And FPS only have Madly remaining. Might be able to third party this one, but no crown. Not really worth putting your hat into the ring of this one. Let them duke it out while Riftwalkers do fall to Gap on the other side. A portal has been taken by one member, but the portal has now fallen, so Fell are broken and split apart.
Yeah, dude, BDE is definitely scaling, man. They've literally improved significantly from game 1 to game 6 here. We've seen it, especially in the last game, and we're seeing it this game as well. Having some really good fights now. Finally having the opportunity to get some maybe cleaner sort of 4v4s than they've had. They've been kind of getting caught out. And right as I say that, Spicy ends up getting taken out as the last member of Asura. So going out at 8th there, 7 squads left in our final
was
game.
Able to find a knock on the other side. Oh, as I was saying that. Was able to find a spike and a knock on a bun. Was hoping to find Jack Lacken, but Jack Lacken found them instead. So Go Hogs are all back up. But that unstable portal, I think Go Hogs now kind of realize that with a minute behind them, they have to be careful. There's always that possibility. A team just shows up right at their flank. So they're starting to play a little bit further back. And making it a little bit more difficult for teams to find that flank.
Yeah, these you weren't kidding, man. These teleporters really do mix stuff up. You have like a clear path across the map at any point when you're by one, but very scary to take that with no vision or knowledge. Bun with a little juke there might be able to get away in the end. Does take the
does take the
teleporter.
unstable portal, so has gotten a pretty good juke right now, but over the Chaos Step Lava, even as a Luna doing
Look at
their
this
best to
chonker.
get
These
away.
chonkers are just flying everywhere.
There's a lot of chonkers. There are a lot of chonkers, that is for sure, and Hyde doesn't give a damn about any of them.
He's just farming his
wants to
RP,
take down
bro.
the bunny. Exactly. He's looking for the bun, looking for one more, and there it is. Eliminating first eliminated. 6th place for Fell.
Hey, not first eliminated though. More like 5th eliminated, but.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think they've been first eliminated at all. Today,
Oh.
so they're not living up to their name.
What do we think about that? I'm not sure how to think. What to think about that?
Right.
I like it, but maybe consider a rebrand.
Exactly. Like maybe like 5th eliminated.
Yeah,
So
5th eliminated. That is way more character.
exactly. And it's nice little skip away there. So Cowboy Bebo almost getting pulled in by Krillo, who takes a glider jet over towards them. Kind of scaring at BDE, who don't have claps, so they don't got that support behind them to kind of heal them up fully, but at least they still have their oath. The shields being broken is going to be bad for BDE, especially with GoHogs ready to play aggressively onto them and kind of separate them. So BDE, without a good foothold onto this circle, are getting chased down by so many teams. That Nutty, GoHogs, TLD, they've got them surrounded, and it's a lone BDE against the world. 4 strong teams surrounding them, and so little to do. Now it's TLD's turn to look to see if they can take down BDE, who have just picked up the crown, and Aiden's going to be the one wearing it solo, because TNN has been taken out while Aiden gets spiked over the abyss.
In TBD, really nice seeing those guys play today. Like, really scaled throughout today. Really nice performance. End up going out there, but fight breaking out here between Nutty and Hog. They get the pick on the Tom kick, so now numbers advantage to Nutty. They're not going to over push that, though. They know other teams like TLD are lurking on the flank here, and to the BDE situation, Magical, like the whole time we've been talking about them kind of being the meat of the sandwich in the middle of a bunch of teams, and we saw it right there, bro. Every team kind of has their position. Yeah,
and I gotta say, it's always hard dealing with Tom Kick on that Kingpin, but one great way to do so is throw out a Storm Grenade so he doesn't have that position anymore to play with, and it forces Jack-a-Lacken by themselves. So GoHogs, unfortunately, now find themselves on the back foot, while Gap, Nutty, and TLD looking strong. There is a respawn beacon, well, actually 2 that could be a GoHogs go play, but too many teams are surrounding them and not enough time to get that res off reliably.
Yeah, Jack-a-Lacken just buying some time at the top left. And we saw Krillo lock in the pull on Tom Kick's Wisp there to get the loot.
Jack-a-Lacken might be able to get it off because these 3 teams are too focused on one another. The Storm Grenade has been thrown down, but GoHogs get the res off in time. Surge back to Jack-a-Lacken, saving GoHogs.
Nice, very well played there. Barely able to live through that Storm Grenade, but gets the res through. Like, those are such like small margins there, where it's like you have a literal second to decide if you want to do that.
A pull from Tom Kick too, but it's a blast off from Lemur to deny that as Tom Kick does find himself falling. Jack-a-Lacken again, the sole survivor for the team. More Storm Grenades have been thrown down. Eye of the Storm, and then with the chonkers right where you land. Poor Jack-a-Lacken and GoHogs get eliminated.
Yeah, that kind of got a little reversed on him there. It was a nice pull back, but really nice kind of counter engaged by Paz and crew, and Lemur, like you said, having a really nice play there to bring them out on top, get the squad wipe. So now just 3 squads left in our final game. We're 20 minutes in here, so it's looking, we are pretty deep in it. If we look at gear here, nice. I like looking at these evolutions here. We see another, this is what Lemur had last game. The glider gas vamp axe are really cool in there.
Look at how many chonker cannons Gap.
Dude, that's awesome. I love these guys, dude.
Just look at that. There's so many of these little boulders everywhere. Even Nutty has a couple of them too. So there's just all these chonker cannons that have been put down, And for Gap, they just control the Chaos Steps. The lava is their terrain. They have made this kind of like Indiana Jones and the Lost Temple, because this is looking more like an adventure that you have to somehow get through all these booby traps.
Yeah, I'm imagining I'm on the Disneyland ride and the boulder's coming at me, but it's a giant chonker instead. It's a giant cat ball. Dude, in my nightmares, just rolling me over.
Exactly, and they're gonna keep resetting him. Anytime they have to, they're just gonna push the line up a little bit more. See, there they go. They just did it again.
Dude,
pushed up a little bit more, and they even got a stun on the username dip all the way on the other side.
The Shrapnel Soul doing so much work on Nutty too, bro. Like they're just continually armor breaking. They have huge range damage pressure between the Ghost and the Myth on this Gap team comp with Shrapnel Soul and XP Soul. If they can get one of these squad wipes, they will realize that level 10. But
Nutty, they finally make the call, and it's on to the last door. They're done with the Chonker Cannons because they know they can't get through that one, but they are struggling to deal with the team. The last door, Phenom tries to get into the back line, but they are eliminated. It's username Dip alone, and Gap controlled the Temple of Doom for victory.
Dude, that was wild. I guarantee you right now in comms, bro, TLD is like, what? They're like, why did Nutty just ship it on us? Like Gap was right above him, bro. Why? And Nutty's just like, YOLO, bro, let's kill him.
They're pretty much like, we're not getting through that. There's no way in hell we're gonna be able to get near them. We will get stunned and we will get spiked over lava. We might as well get second.
That was dope. Yeah, they really just forced that fight. Absolutely crushed TLD in the corner there. They try to recover, but not enough in time. So Gap comes back. Gap having a monster day here, bro. How many is that? 4 out of 6?
That was 4. 4 out of 6. So they definitely were massive in this one. And looking really good. I know a lot of our teams are now going to start getting ready for our arena games. I know I need to take a break. I was starting to feel a little bit of chest pain during that game, during the last 2 games.
Yeah, you're gonna have a monster day here with now an arena tournament starting in 30 minutes. You madman.
Exactly. That's why I'm gonna take a break. So I'm gonna go raid Rin. Well, we have a second, but thank you, Zikrik, and thank you everybody for joining me today. I am going to go get rest. I need it. So I will see you all in about half an hour.
Sounds good. Thank you, Magical. Thank you, everyone. Catch you guys later.